Chapter 2248, Untitled. Chapter 2248, Untitled. A wise man submits to fate, and she should have known better. She should have paid the price, as long as it could keep her alive. There's always a chance to get revenge. Look at Consort Ramil. She's His Majesty's favorite now. Lady Wang said, but Lu was Feng Wu's cousin. They were family. How could Feng Wu be so heartless? Smack! Feng Yanfeng slapped her hard in the face. Both Feng Iran and Feng Sang were astonished. Lady Wang burst into tears. You hit me. You hit me for that girl, the girl who killed your daughter. Feng Yanfeng, I hate you. Feng Yanfeng picked up the teapot and poured the tea over her head as she charged at him. Wake up. Do you think you own this world? Do you think everyone has to do your bidding? Do you think people will just endure what you do to them and never take revenge? You're so easy to see through. Wake up. This world values martial prowess above everything else. Do you think Xiao Wu doesn't know what you did her 5 years ago? Of course she knows that Feng Lu was her cousin. Why do you think she killed Feng Lu, regardless of the consequences? Because she hates us. She hates us for everything we did 5 years ago. She hated Feng Lu for trying to kill her the whole time. She hates you for harming her mother. She killed Feng Lu because she wanted to warn us not to mess with her. She won't hesitate to kill us if we make her angry. She wouldn't dare, said Lady Wang. Feng Yanfeng found his wife ridiculous. She's backed by His Royal Highness and Northern Feng Mansion. She herself is also incredibly capable. I suppose that none of you know her real capability. I do. She's a level 7 spiritual elder, said Feng Sang. Yes, that's quite impressive, but it's not unachievable. A level 7 spiritual elder? Feng Yanfeng looked at his daughter as if she was a complete idiot. Do you still think that way? Father. Feng Sang looked at Feng Yanfeng in confusion. Feng Yanfeng said, how stupid are you? Feng Sang didn't understand the look in her father's eyes. It was a mixture of jealousy, hatred, and smugness. How strange. Feng Yanfeng waved them off. Forget it. It'll only discourage you. If they were told that Feng Wu was already a level 7 spiritual lord, they would probably feel utterly defeated. They were all of a similar age, but Feng Wu was so much better than they were. Feng Yanfeng was very disappointed. His son thought so highly of himself, but he was only a spiritual grandmaster now. And his proud daughter, who thought herself so efficient, was a mere spiritual grandmaster as well. Even Xiuling is better than you. How are you going to avenge your sister? Just let it go, Feng Yanfeng said in resignation. Chapter 2249, Untitled. Chapter 2249, Untitled. Feng Yanfeng had been filled with despair ever since he learned that Feng Wu had risen to become a level 7 spiritual lord. If he knew that Feng Wu was already a level 9 spiritual lord, he would probably fall to his knees on the ground. Although his tantrum forced Lady Wang to calm down, it was impossible to make her drop the idea of taking revenge. Feng Wu had no idea what was going on with Feng Yanfeng's family. She was busy getting back home. Instead of entering through the front gate, she rode her horse and jumped over the wall. Thump! Bloodsea horse landed steadily in the courtyard. The door to Fallen Star Yard was half open, and she could hear voices inside. Sister-in-law, you signed it yourself. You can't deny it now. It was a familiar voice. Granny Zhao said angrily, Lady Gu, you're frightening my lady. She hasn't agreed to anything. Please leave. Lady Gu, as in the wife of Feng Wu's third uncle. She remembered that her uncle had gone to work in a local office and had taken his family with him. Had they come back to the Imperial capital? Lady Gu was smiling, but her tone was threatening. Sister-in-law, this is your signature. If you still want to deny it, I don't mind taking this to court. Uncle Chiu and Granny Zhao shielded the lady with their own bodies. Lady Gu, please leave. Lady Gu said, Granny Zhao, Uncle Chiu, once my sister-in-law remarries, why don't you come and work for me? Feng Wu was furious. How dare she say such a thing? Xiuling wanted to charge into the courtyard, but Feng Wu stopped her. She wanted to hear Lady Gu's plan. Granny Zhao said, Lady Gu, my lady isn't marrying anyone. Lady Gu smirked. That's not for her to decide. With that face of hers, it'll be a great waste if she just stays here in this courtyard. The Lord of Yongxing Manor doesn't mind her past and wants to take her after his first wife's death. She has to grab this chance before it goes away. Lady Gu didn't try to keep it from the beautiful lady. She treated her as a dimwit. Feng Wu looked inside and saw her mother trembling behind Granny Zhao. That woman was frightening her. Uncle Chiu glared at Lady Gu. Lady Gu, please show some respect. When Miss Wu comes back, she won't be pleased if she knows how you've been treating her mother. Uncle Chiu, are you talking about my sister, the good-for-nothing? That was Feng Qi, Lady Gu's daughter. Feng Qi was of the same age as Feng Wu, but they had been treated quite differently when they were little. Well, I do remember my sister. It was very bold of her to come back from northern border city. I see that she doesn't mind people laughing at her. Uncle Chiu and Granny Zhao were furious, but they were only servants and couldn't do anything. But someone took action, and that was Feng Wu's beautiful mother. Only one thing could really affect her, and that was Feng Wu. Xiao Wu was the prettiest girl. Xiao Wu was the most lovely girl. Xiao Wu was the most popular girl. Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu. Chapter 2250, Untitled. Chapter 2250, Untitled. The beautiful lady wouldn't hear anything bad about Xiao Wu. Those who did were her enemies, and she would go berserk. As expected, hearing what Feng Qi said, the beautiful lady was furious. She grabbed a broomstick and smacked it down on Feng Qi's face. In her world, there was no seniority, nor was there right or wrong. She only cared about her Xiao Wu. Die, die, die. The beautiful lady started hitting Feng Qi with a broomstick. Feng Qi was frightened. She had never expected her frail-looking aunt to hit her so hard with a broomstick. Feng Qi had been cultivating since she was little and had been learning from a great teacher. Once the initial shock was over, she struck back. However, her guard moved faster. The guard had an unassuming look, but one could tell that he was very capable. He was faster than Feng Qi. He thought that he could easily take down the beautiful lady because he was the most capable person in the courtyard. But he was wrong. He was knocked away. The person kicked him so hard that his ribs were broken, and he felt as if his internal organs had been torn apart. He smashed into the wall, and it shattered at the impact. He pressed his hands to his chest and spat out a mouthful of blood. There were some lumps in his blood. It was obvious that his internal organs had been wrecked. Chingy, are you all right? Feng Qi ran to his side, her voice full of concern. Chingy wanted to say something, but couldn't make a sound. He wanted to tell his mistress to be careful, but Feng Qi was too furious to care about anything else. She turned around and glared at Qiuling. The attacker wasn't Feng Wu. It was Qiuling, the level 7 spiritual elder. It just wasn't Lady Gu. Granny Zhao and Uncle Chiu were also astonished. How had Qiuling become so capable after the last few months? Meanwhile, Feng Wu ran to her mother. Die, die. The beautiful lady and the broomstick made an amusing picture, but Feng Wu felt so sorry for her. Mom, it's me. Xiao Wu is back. Feng Wu held her by the waist. Finally, the lady calmed down. She recognized the girl's face. Although she wasn't the prettiest girl in the world, she was still her Xiao Wu. Feng Wu would be speechless if she knew her mother's opinion of her appearance. In other people's eyes, Feng Wu was a stunning girl. Apart from her mother, Feng Wu hadn't met anyone else who was prettier than her. Xiao Wu, the beautiful lady, grabbed Feng Wu and wouldn't let go. Feng Wu patted her back and said, Mom, I won't let it happen again. I promise. This time, she had brought back the white fairy. Chapter 2251, Untitled. Chapter 2251, Untitled. With the white fairy guarding the courtyard, if anyone tried to invade her home again, they could go to hell. While Feng Wu was placating her mother, Lady Gu and Feng Qi finally recovered from their initial shock. Lady Gu looked from Feng Wu to Qiuling and said, You're Xiao Wu. Then, who's that? Lady Gu, I'm Chilling. Lady Gu had seen Chilling before, but she just couldn't believe it, because Chilling had exerted so much power in that kick. Are you really Chilling? You're so capable now. Lady Gu didn't know how she should treat Chilling now. It pained Feng Wu to see how scared her mother was. The beautiful lady had fallen ill years ago and had lost both her memory and her cultivation ability. She behaved like a 5-year-old and was frightened by all the fighting. Feng Wu told Chilling, finish it outside and be quick about it. Having been with Feng Wu for so many years, Chilling was no longer frightened by a nobody like Lady Gu. All the high-ranking officials in court had spoken to her in person and tried to win her to their side. They had all promised her generous rewards. Chilling turned down every single one of them, saying that she couldn't leave her mistress. In comparison, Lady Gu was almost too petty for her to handle. Unfortunately, Lady Gu and her daughter didn't know that. They still thought of Chilling as the little maid she used to be. Chilling stared at the mother and daughter. You're bothering Miss Wu and my lady. Please come outside. She then headed for the door. Lady Gu was astonished. She looked from Chilling to Feng Wu and said, Xiao Wu, aren't you going to say something? Did you hear what your maid said? How can a maid offend us? Shut up. Feng Wu frowned. Seeing the look on her face, Chilling picked up Lady Gu and threw her over the wall. Thump! Lady Gu landed on the other side of the wall. Feng Qi was shocked. What was going on? How could this maid? Feng Wu, are you an idiot? How could you let a maid? Stop talking, said Feng Wu. Chilling moved again. Thump! This time, Feng Qi and Qingyi were thrown out. Seeing the cold look in Chilling's eyes, Lady Gu's servants all scattered and ran off. Chilling shut the front gate and shook her head when she saw the collapsed wall. Uncle Chio, do we have any bricks? The crowd couldn't believe their ears. With what had happened, Chilling only cared about repairing the wall. Gosh, that was unbelievable. Let's go to the elders. Someone has to keep her under control. Lady Gu said furiously. They couldn't do anything to Chilling, but the family could. At the same time, Uncle Chio was equally shocked. Chilling, he didn't know what to say. That was so incredible. Chapter 2252. Chapter 2252, Untitled. Chilling had really thrown those people out. They were Lady Gu and her daughter. Chilling, how could you? Uncle Chio stomped his foot. They'll come back. You've made so much trouble for Miss Wu and Our Lady. Chilling wanted to speak, but Uncle Chio wouldn't let her. By then, Feng Wu had calmed her mother down and put her to bed. She came back out to see Uncle Chio scolding Chilling. So she said, Uncle Chio, Chilling did nothing wrong. I told her to do that. Uncle Chio rolled his eyes at her. I'm not blind. I can see that. Feng Wu and Chilling chuckled. Uncle Chio glared at Chilling. Stop laughing. Do you know how much trouble you've caused? We should keep a low profile and slowly build up our strength. Uncle Chio, Feng Wu cut him off. Chilling is a level 7 spiritual elder now. Uncle Chio said, even so, she's still... Wait, Miss Wu, what did you just say? Chilling is a level 7 spiritual grandmaster now? Feng Wu laughed. No, she's much better than that. She's a level 7 spiritual elder. What? Uncle Chio was astonished. Then isn't she more capable than you? How's that even possible? She only took a trip to the grassland. Miss Wu, are you making fun of me? Feng Wu shrugged. You saw it yourself. Chilling is so amazing. She threw those people out as if they were only sacks of rice. Miss Wu, Chilling blushed. Uncle Chio was thrilled. A level 7 spiritual elder. Oh my God. Uncle Chio was so excited that his mouth twitched. If that's the case, we don't have to be so humble anymore. Feng Wu was moved by his excitement. In the years that Feng Wu had been without her cultivation ability, it was Uncle Chio who had protected the family. But he wasn't very capable himself either. Feng Wu knew how hard it had been for him. Miss Wu, Chilling is a level 7 spiritual elder now, so you better work hard. Uncle Chio encouraged Feng Wu. You need to keep up with her. Chilling chuckled. Uncle Chio stared at her. Yes, you're so amazing now. Even so, you still have to serve Miss Wu properly. Xiaoling said, of course. Feng Wu said, Uncle Qiu, I won't be able to make any more progress for a while, but don't worry. Uncle Qiu asked why. Feng Wu said, I've made so many advancements recently that my foundation isn't as solid as before. I need to work on that first before I make any more breakthroughs. Otherwise, I'll have a lot of trouble in the future. Uncle Qiu didn't understand everything she said, but he heard the many advancements bit. So many advancements. Miss Wu, have you become a level 7 spiritual elder as well? He asked curiously. Xiaoling chuckled. What are you talking about? Miss Wu is a spiritual lord now. Chapter 2253, Untitled. Chapter 2253, Untitled. What? Uncle Qiu almost jumped to his feet. A spiritual lord? Is that true? Granny Zhao almost cried out in excitement as well. She covered her mouth and stared at Feng Wu. Feng Wu chuckled. Xiaoling is already a level 7 spiritual elder. I have to be better than that, don't I? Uncle Qiu asked gingerly. Are you a level 1 spiritual lord? Feng Wu shook her head. Granny Zhao asked, Are you level 2? Feng Wu shook her head again. Uncle Qiu asked, Level 3. Still shaking. Level 4. Feng Wu went on shaking her head. Uncle Qiu was astonished. Still no? You're even higher than that? Miss Wu, is this real? Feng Wu said grumpily, Why would I lie to you? Then Miss Wu is a level 7 spiritual lord, Xiaoling said with a smile. A level 7 spiritual lord. Uncle Qiu was so excited that he almost fainted. Really? Miss Wu, is that true? You really are a level 7 spiritual lord? Oh my God. Uncle Qiu burst into tears. Things were really looking up for them. Granny Zhao was also in tears. The old lady had always been very tough. Despite her old age, she had never asked for any help. Because of that, Feng Wu had always found her a little distant. At that moment, Feng Wu was so glad that everyone was happy about her new cultivation level. Why should she keep anything from them? She shook her head. I'm not a level 7 spiritual lord. No. Those words almost scared Uncle Qiu and Granny Zhao out of their wits. Feng Wu looked at them and said seriously, The others all think that I'm a level 7 spiritual lord, but in fact I'm a level 9 spiritual lord. Those words were like a thunderclap in everyone's ears. Xiaoling, Uncle Qiu, and Granny Zhao were all astonished. A level 9 spiritual lord? What did that mean? It meant that she was so close to becoming a spiritual king. And what did it mean to be a spiritual king? Northern Feng General, who was stationed on the northern border, was a spiritual king. No one knew what level he was at now, but everyone knew that he had been a spiritual king when he first set out. Miss Wu is only 13 years old. She'll be 14 next year. She's only one level away from the spiritual lord stage. No one else in the Feng clan is nearly as talented as Miss Wu. Feng Wu started asking questions after Uncle Qiu and Granny Zhao stopped shouting excitedly. What's going on with Lady Gu? And what about Feng Qi? What's the signature Lady Gu was talking about? Feng Wu looked at Uncle Qiu and Granny Zhao. Qiuling and I are much stronger than before, and with a wave of her hand, Feng Wu presented the white fairy. The fairy was less transparent at night, but in the end, she still didn't have a tangible form. What's that? It happened so suddenly. Everyone jumped. They all thought that they were looking at a ghost. Uncle Qiu took another look and saw that she didn't have a shadow, which frightened him even more. They wondered where Miss Wu had found such a thing. What was it? Weren't we talking about spiritual kings? Feng Wu pointed at the white fairy with a smile. The white fairy here is a spiritual king. The white fairy rolled her eyes at Feng Wu. For now, her cultivation level dropped once she left the tombs, which was why she had fallen to the spiritual king stage. Feng Wu said, You'll frighten them if you tell them that you're at the spiritual regent stage. Keep a low profile, shall we? The fairy snorted. Feng Wu said, The white fairy is going to stay here from now on, but she'll be invisible most of the time. You can call for her when there's an emergency, and she'll come out to help you. The white fairy looked exceptionally pale because she had been injured in the battle against Master Zhua. Are you done? She glanced at Feng Wu. Feng Wu said, yes. The white fairy nodded. Don't call me unless it's really important. She disappeared after that. Uncle Chiu and the others were shocked, and it took them a while to recover. Miss Wu, is the white fairy really a spiritual king? Uncle Chiu still couldn't believe his ears. Chioling had become a spiritual elder, and Miss Wu a spiritual lord during the trip, and they had even brought back a spiritual king. He almost couldn't recognize the world anymore. Feng Wu said, yes. She owes someone a favor, and that person transferred that favor to me. Therefore, she'll protect our family for 100 years. You'll get to know her better. She's not that frightening. She may seem distant, but she's not a bad person. Uncle Chiu couldn't begin to imagine befriending a spiritual king. Right, let's get back to what we were talking about. What signature was my aunt talking about? Asked Feng Wu. Uncle Chiu would have kept it from Feng Wu before for her own safety, but now. There was a level 9 spiritual lord and a spiritual king at home. What did that mean? Uncle Chiu knew that he had nothing to worry about anymore. Chapter 2254, Untitled. Chapter 2254, Untitled. Right, let's get back to what we were talking about. What signature was my aunt talking about? Asked Feng Wu. Uncle Chiu answered the question. That's a long story. Uncle Chiu smiled bitterly. A lot happened after you left, Miss Wu. Granny Zhao and I managed to stop most of them, but there were things that we couldn't do anything about. Your third uncle, who took office in the south, came back to the Imperial capital last month. Ever since Lady Gu's return, we've been having a lot of trouble at home. Miss Wu, Lady Gu isn't a nice person. Be careful. Feng Wu nodded. And then, Uncle Chiu said, I'm running errands outside most times, and Granny Zhao takes care of domestic affairs. I think she should be the one to tell you everything. Feng Wu then turned to Granny Zhao. Granny Zhao sighed. Lady Gu was very warm at first, and would visit us from time to time. Although your mother never talked, she didn't seem to mind at all. With time, my lady let her guard down. Lady Gu's son came with her one time, and to be honest, he's a very spoiled child. He ran around the house the whole time, and wanted everything he laid his eyes on. If he couldn't have it, he would start shouting and crying. That time, he wanted something from your room. It was a set of 18 figurines. Granny Zhao gestured at Feng Wu's room. Feng Wu searched her memory. She recalled that the set had been a gift from Yu Minji when he left the Imperial capital. It had been a moonless night when he left. He had patted her shoulder and beamed at her. Xiao Wu, you meant to be my wife. Don't get too close to Jun Lin Yuan, all right? Keep your distance. Get lost. Feng Wu glared at him. Yu Minji rubbed his nose and mumbled, You never believe me when I tell you the truth. It had been very windy, and Feng Wu didn't hear him. What did you say? Yu Minji looked at her sadly, and he sighed when he saw the confused look on her face. He had then tossed something at her. Take it. What is it? Feng Wu caught it and saw that it was a square box. Yu Minji grunted. One day, you'll know that I'm the best. He then jumped off the wall and disappeared into the night. Feng Wu called after him, but her voice was lost in the night wind. When she opened the box, she saw that it was a set of clay figurines. They were all the size of her fingers. Feng Wu had counted and saw that there were 18 of them. Miss Wu, seeing that Feng Wu was lost in thought, Granny Zhao waved her hand in front of her face. Feng Wu looked at her. Granny Zhao asked, Miss Wu, are you all right? Feng Wu nodded and said, Keep going. Granny Zhao nodded and went on. Chapter 2255, Untitled. Chapter 2255, Untitled. Lady Gu's son came with her to Fallen Star Yard. Because Lady Gu has always been very friendly, we let our guard down. Granny Zhao grew angry. Miss Wu, we locked your room after you left. Feng Wu nodded. Granny Zhao said, But your cousin picked the lock, opened your door, and broke one of the figurines on the table. Your mother was very angry. Feng Wu wasn't surprised. Her mother cared about her very much. Of course, she was angry. Granny Zhao said, "My lady was so angry that she shook. Young Master Qi was there as well, and he beat up your cousin. Young Master Qi is very capable now. Those people weren't his match." Feng Wu glanced at Granny Zhao, who seemed very proud of her brother. Granny Zhao frowned. "Of course, Lady Gu and your uncle wouldn't have it, so they came back here and wanted to punish young Master Qi." Feng Wu frowned. Jun Linyuan had given Chang's sand to her, and she had left him in Fallen Star Yard to keep her family safe. What had Chang's been doing? Granny Zhao said, "Qingyi, the one whom Qiuling kicked away, was the guard Lady Gu and Miss Qi brought with them. He almost took apart our Fallen Star Yard. He wanted to take young Master Qi away to punish him." Feng Wu frowned. "Where was Chang-san? I haven't seen him since I came back." Master Chang stepped in and beat up Qingyi. He nearly hit Lady Gu and Miss Qi as well. Master Chang threatened them, saying that he would break their legs if they returned. He was quite scary. Feng Wu nodded. It's his job to guard Fallen Star Yard. What happened next? Granny Zhao sounded concerned. "We thought that Lady Gu would stop trying after that, but someone tried to invade Fallen Star Yard at night, and Master Chang went after them. That was a few days ago, and he hasn't come back yet. I don't know what happened to him. Had someone deliberately lured him away?" Feng Wu decided that she would go to Jun Linyuan and find Chang-san after everything settled down. Her family was her priority. "Go on." Feng Wu grabbed a chair and had Granny Zhao sit down. Qiuling had made them some tea. Although she was a level 7 spiritual elder and a rising star, she still behaved like an ordinary maid. Granny Zhao said, "Once Master Chang left, we were defenseless. Lady Gu got wind of it and came back. This time, she brought with her the elders of the clan. Although the Feng clan was no longer what it used to be, many elders still thought very highly of themselves." Granny Zhao said, "The elders were on Lady Gu's side and kept saying that young Master Qi needed to be disciplined. Otherwise, he would grow up just like..." Chapter 2256, Feng Wu is angry. Chapter 2256, Feng Wu is angry. "Just like me." Feng Wu smirked. Granny Zhao said, "Yes, that was what they said. They wanted to take young Master Qi away, and your mother wouldn't let them. Things got very chaotic. In the end, Lady Gu said that if your mother signed an apology letter, she would forgive your brother." Feng Wu said, "What apology letter? Wasn't a spoken apology enough?" Granny Zhao said, "That was what we said, but Lady Gu said that without a written letter, you might not acknowledge it when you came back. Your mother had to sign the letter, otherwise they would take away your brother, flog him, and put him in confinement. Your mother was frightened. She couldn't stand the idea of confinement and almost lost it. Lady Gu caught her off guard and put your mother's thumbprint on the paper. After that, Lady Gu looked very pleased. She said that she would start preparations." Feng Wu asked, "What preparations?" Granny Zhao slapped herself. "We only learned the day before yesterday that it wasn't an apology letter. It was a marriage agreement." Feng Wu's eyes widened. "What marriage agreement?" Granny Zhao shook with anger. "It was a trap. Lady Gu wanted to marry your mother to some other man." "What?" Feng Wu was furious. How dare they try to do that to her dear, beautiful mother? She wanted to cut off Lady Gu's head. "Who is the lucky man?" Feng Wu smirked. Her mother was so beautiful that even the emperor was tempted, let alone other men. But if her mother didn't want to remarry, no one could force her. Granny Zhao said gingerly, "He's not just any man." Feng Wu snorted. "I like to see how special he is." "He's Lord Gu of Yongxing Manor," Granny Zhao said. Feng Wu asked, "As in Lady Gu's family?" Granny Zhao nodded. Feng Wu said, "If I remember correctly, Lord Gu has a wife already." Lord Gu was Lady Gu's brother. Granny Zhao nodded. "He does. Your mother isn't going to be his wife." "What the heck?" Feng Wu stared at Granny Zhao. "That son of a bitch wants my mother to be his concubine." Granny Zhao nodded, looking humiliated. Feng Wu smashed a chair into pieces. She headed for the door. Qiuling asked, "Miss Wu, where are you going?" Feng Wu didn't answer. Qiuling said, "Miss Wu, Aren't you always telling us that we should think carefully before we take action? Feng Wu smiled coldly. Think carefully? I'll do that after I kill her. This was unacceptable. Lady Gu had crossed the line. Chapter 2257. Let's run. Chapter 2257. Let's run. With Feng Wu's capability now, of course, she wouldn't endure such humiliation. Granny Zhao and Uncle Chiu were shocked. Kill her. Did Feng Wu want to kill Lady Gu? Seeing that Feng Wu was heading for the door, they immediately went after her and grabbed her arms. Uncle Chiu said, Miss Wu, you can't. She's your aunt. You can't kill her. Granny Zhao said, Miss Wu, what will other people say about you if you kill her? Don't do it. Miss Feng Lu has said worse things, but you still let her live. Miss Feng Lu is dead, Qiuling said in a low voice. Miss Feng Lu is so much more arrogant than Lady Gu. What? Granny Zhao turned to Qiuling and asked, What did you say? Qiuling announced the breaking news in a flat voice. Miss Feng Lu is dead. What? Uncle Chiu and Granny Zhao were astonished. Ever since they came back, Feng Lu had been giving them a hard time. She wouldn't stop creating trouble for them, and Granny Zhao was so angry at her. But she was still shocked to hear that she was dead. Miss Feng Lu is dead? How? Did someone kill her? Asked Granny Zhao. Qiuling nodded. Granny Zhao sighed. Miss Feng Lu is so unbridled that it was only a matter of time before she got herself killed, but I didn't expect the day to come so soon. Whoever did it will be in big trouble. Her parents are very difficult to handle. They'll find a way to get their revenge. They won't care about the consequences. By the way, Granny Zhao asked Qiuling, who was bold enough to kill Miss Feng Lu. Qiuling glanced at Feng Wu, but didn't reply. Granny Zhao thought that Qiuling didn't dare to tell her because the person was too terrifying. Miss Wu, you must know who that person is. Uncle Chiu and Granny Zhao were so curious. Feng Wu sounded perfectly calm when she said, Me. Granny Zhao said, Miss Wu, please tell us. We'll set up a little shrine for that person. Feng Wu rolled her eyes at her. I told you already. It was me. Granny Zhao couldn't believe her ears. Miss Wu, what are you talking about? You can't joke about such things. Even if it's true, you should really keep your voice down. If someone hears you. Feng Wu looked at her. Everyone out there knows that I was the one who killed Feng Lu. SSSS. Granny Zhao drew in her breath. Everyone. Feng Wu nodded. Granny Zhao trembled with fear. She was just a servant. Despite her tough look, she still revered her masters. When she heard that Feng Wu had killed Feng Lu, she felt a chill run down her spine. Oh no! Feng Yinfeng was the head of the family, and Feng Wu had killed his daughter. Miss Wu, run, Granny Zhao said nervously. Let's pack our things now and go back to the northern border. We'll never come back. Old Chiu, get the carriage. Chapter 2258, Attack. Chapter 2258, Attack. Sure. Uncle Chiu turned to fetch the carriage. Feng Wu said stop. Granny Zhao and Uncle Chiu looked at her in bewilderment. Feng Wu said, so what if I killed Feng Lu? Uncle Chiu said, Miss Wu, don't say that. Miss Lu is your uncle's favorite daughter. Lady Wang will want to kill you. Feng Wu smiled. Kill me? I'd like to see them try. Uncle Chiu was stunned. That was true. Even Feng Yinfeng wasn't Miss Wu's match anymore, but Feng Wu stopped trying to persuade them. She needed her anger for Lady Gu. That woman tried to marry her mother off when she was away. How dare she? Feng Wu uprooted a tall tree on the way and carried it on her shoulder. Granny Zhao, Uncle Chiu, and Qiuling all followed her. They were speechless when they saw the 5-meter tree. Granny Zhao asked Qiuling, Aren't you going to talk Miss Wu out of it? Qiuling said, Miss Wu is always right. If something is wrong, it must be someone else's fault. Granny Zhao smacked her own forehead. How could she have forgotten what Qiuling was like? She would support Feng Wu no matter what. Granny Zhao said, Should we go to Lady Wang? Uncle Chiu said, Miss Wu just killed her daughter. They'll never help us. Granny Zhao didn't know what to say. She couldn't understand why Feng Wu would confront her third uncle's family when she had already offended her first uncle. Uncle Cho said calmly, "Don't worry. Miss Wu is invincible in this manner now. As long as the elders don't intervene, everything will be fine." But no one knew if those old men would stay out of it. The family clan used to be one of the major clans, so they did have some very capable members. Feng Wu moved very fast and soon reached Waveyard, where the third branch of the clan lived. Several servants were outside, and among them was Granny Ding, the guard of the place. She didn't recognize Feng Wu at first, but she knew Granny Zhao and Uncle Chiu. She frowned and scolded them. "Granny Zhao, what's this? Are you invading Waveyard now?" Granny Zhao and Granny Ding had been bought by the Feng clan at the same time, and the two of them had a competitive relationship. When the third branch of the clan rose to power, Granny Ding began to look down upon Granny Zhao. Before Granny Zhao could say anything, Granny Ding smirked and said, "Who's this girl? And why does she have a tree? We don't need more trees here." "Granny Zhao, I heard that your lady is about to marry into the Gu family, and you won't have a family to serve anymore. If you beg me, maybe I can go talk to Lady Gu, and she'll keep you here as a cleaner." She started laughing. Around her were a few low-level teenage maids, and they all laughed with her. The servants were divided into different levels as well. Granny Zhao was a senior maid of the beautiful lady, but Granny Ding wanted to turn her into a cleaner. How humiliating. Chapter 2261, Untitled. Chapter 2261, Untitled. Lady Wong said, "That's right. After so many years, there's no way that he's still alive. Otherwise, he would have come back by now." Lady Gu said, "In that case, did I do anything wrong when I tried to find his wife another husband?" Those words shocked Lady Wong. A new husband for Feng Wu's beautiful mother. Granny Gue almost spilled her tea. Lady Gu had no idea what a terrifying declaration she had just made. She took Lady Wong's hand and said, "It's not just some random man. My brother fancies the lady and wants to marry her." Lady Wong frowned. "Wait a minute. Your brother, as in Lord Gu, doesn't he have a wife already? I saw her only a few months ago. Has she passed away?" Lady Gu said, "Of course not. That lady is a widow. Of course no one will want her as an official wife. She's going to be my brother's concubine." Lady Wong couldn't believe her ears. A concubine? The beautiful lady? Did she have any idea how much Feng Wu cared for her mother? Lady Wong still remembered the last time when she said something unpleasant about the lady, and Feng Wu had almost killed her. Moreover, according to her husband, Feng Wu was already a level 7 spiritual lord. When she rose to level 9, she might become a lord herself. Lady Gu finally saw the strange look in Lady Wong's eyes, so she asked, "Sister-in-law, what's wrong?" Lady Wong was going to explain when she saw Granny Gue shake her head. An idea struck Lady Wong. That was it. Feng Wu had killed Feng Lu, and that was something she would never forgive her for. However, her husband had also ordered her to leave Feng Wu alone. What if someone else could kill Feng Wu? Lady Gu came from the Gu family, which was one of the 10 major clans. Feng Wu would be in a lot of trouble if she offended that family. At that thought, she cleared her throat to cover her embarrassment. Well, the Gu family is very prestigious, and Lord Gu is the heir. Becoming his concubine would be a great honor. Lady Wong hid her true feelings. "That's so true." Lady Wong smacked her thigh. "That's what I said." That lady thought the same. "What? That beautiful idiot agreed? You got to be kidding me," thought Lady Wong. Lady Gu took out a letter and showed it to Lady Wong. "Look, here's the marriage agreement, and here's the thumbprint." Lady Wong found the letter suspicious. That idiot wouldn't trust anyone except Feng Wu. "There's something behind this letter. I'm sure of it," she thought to herself. But she didn't mind the plot. She would love to see Feng Wu and the Gu family scratch each other's eyes out. At that thought, she feigned a pleased tone. "This is great news. Chapter 2262, Untitled. Chapter 2262, Untitled. Lady Gu said, "Sister-in-law, I'm glad to hear that you're on my side, but Xiao Wu was so angry, as if I was trying to harm her mother. It's so hard to be a good person these days." Lady Wang smirked inwardly. "You're trying to marry her mother off as a concubine. With Feng Wu's temper, she's going to tear down your waveyard." She was still pondering over the idea when Granny Ding arrived in a hurry. "Lady Gu, something has happened." Meanwhile, Feng Wu was asking Feng Qi, "So, your mother isn't going to come out, is she?" Feng Qi said in an unhurried tone, "My dear cousin, do you know what level I'm at? I'm a level 1 spiritual elder. At my age, the elders all say that I'm making much faster progress than my brother. I'm the future of the Feng clan. And you," she glanced at Feng Wu and raised her chin, "you're just a useless girl who has just retrieved a little bit of your ability. How dare you?" Thump! Before she could finish, Feng Wu had smashed the tree in her hands into the wall. Rumble! That immediately crushed over half of the wall. Feng Qi stared at Feng Wu in disbelief and shouted, "How dare you damage my home? I'm going to kill you." However, she didn't have much time to do anything. Thump! Feng Wu struck down at Feng Qi's head. Whoosh! Just like Steward Ding, Feng Qi was thrown into the wall, crushing the remaining half of it. "Stop! Stop her! She'll destroy the whole courtyard." In that critical moment, everyone came out to save the courtyard. That included the men the master of the house had hired, as well as the servants whom Lady Gu had brought here when she married. They were all very capable. But that was only relatively speaking. For ordinary people, becoming a spiritual master was already a big achievement. The top-level guards could only be spiritual grandmasters. Feng Wu's uncle couldn't afford spiritual lords yet. Therefore, thump, 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 Feng Wu quickly swept the tree through the air. Whoosh! She knocked every single person to the ground. Feng Qi's eyes widened. That's not possible. She couldn't think straight anymore. How is this possible? Didn't everyone say that Feng Wu was useless? Wasn't she supposed to have lost her cultivation skills? How could she defeat all these spiritual grandmasters? Feng Qi still believed that she had the greatest potential in the younger generation. Why was Feng Wu so powerful? Just then, Feng Wu leaped up and smashed down at a wall. "Feng Wu, stop!" Feng Qi bellowed. That was a load-bearing wall. If that wall went down, the entire courtyard would collapse. "Miss Qi, run!" At that critical moment, Steward Ding dragged Feng Qi out. All the guards scrambled to their feet and ran for their lives. Those that couldn't run tried their best to crawl away. Quickly, run, rumble. It was as if lightning had struck down. The two-story building was crushed by Feng Wu's tree. Chapter 2263, Untitled. Chapter 2263, Untitled. Some people ran faster and managed to get out. But the ones that moved slower were almost all buried under the debris. Feng Qi watched in disbelief. No, this can't be happening. Feng Qi's face was covered with sweat, tears, and dust. Her hair and clothes were disheveled, and she looked nothing like the noble young lady she was supposed to be. When Lady Gu rushed back after receiving the information, she was just in time to see Feng Wu's last strike. She was shocked by Feng Wu's fury. When she saw the collapsed walls, she was almost scared out of her wits. The tree had also fallen to pieces after Feng Wu destroyed the courtyard. Feng Qi ran toward her mother in fright. "Mother!" Lady Gu held Feng Qi in her arms and told Granny Ding in a trembling voice, "Go get Lady Wang and the masters. Quickly." Feng Wu remained where she was and kept her cold gaze on Lady Gu. Lady Gu was no fool. With the power Feng Wu had exerted, she couldn't lie to herself anymore. She pushed Feng Qi behind her and marched toward Feng Wu. Waveyard was destroyed, and that was a great humiliation for Lady Gu. She was the daughter of one of the 10 major clans and had never been humiliated like this before. She walked up to Feng Wu and raised her hand, tried to slap her. "You little bastard." But it had never occurred to her that she wouldn't be able to treat Feng Wu the same way as she treated her husband's concubines. Before she could even touch Feng Wu, the girl had raised her right leg. Thump! Lady Gu realized in astonishment that she was flying backward. Feng Wu had just kicked her in the stomach. Smack! Lady Gu smashed into a pile of debris and spat out a mouthful of blood. How formidable! Feng Wu had just kicked Lady Gu without hesitation. Seeing this, no one dared to make any reckless moves anymore. Even Feng Qi was stunned. The look in Feng Wu's eyes when she stared at Lady Gu reminded Feng Qi of the god of death. She used to be the miracle girl 5 years ago. Then, she had to hide her true capability. Today, she could finally reveal herself. The unbridled genius was back. The lower hem of her dress flapped in the night wind, accentuating her intimidating demeanor. The look in her eyes gave Lady Gu the creeps. I'm your aunt, a senior member of the family. How dare you attack me? You've broken the rule of the clan. You're dead. Lady Gu gritted her teeth. As a daughter of the Gu family, she refused to be intimidated. Feng Wu reached out to her with an open palm. Give it to me. Lady Gu smirked. I don't know what you mean. Feng Wu snorted. She then made a beckoning gesture at Feng Qi. Feng Qi, who had considered herself to be a formidable level 1 spiritual elder, couldn't believe it when an invisible power dragged her toward Feng Wu. Feng Wu stomped on Feng Qi's right hand without hesitation. Art. Chapter 2264. Feng Wu the Ruler, 1. Chapter 2264. Feng Wu the Ruler, 1. Feng Wu stomped on Feng Qi's right hand without hesitation. Arg! Lady Gu couldn't believe her eyes. She screamed at Feng Wu, Have you lost your mind? She had never expected Feng Wu to be so heartless. Feng Qi was her cousin. Feng Qi felt every bone in her right hand break. In a split second, her hand was red and swollen, making for quite a terrifying sight. Feng Qi almost passed out, and tears rolled down her cheeks. She had lived such an indulgent life and had never imagined such pain. The humiliation almost broke her. Feng Wu sneered at Lady Gu. Give it back. Lady Gu wouldn't have it. She believed that a daughter of the Gu family should never give in. Therefore, she didn't take out the letter, but said angrily, Feng Wu, that is enough. I'm doing your mother a favor. But before she could finish, Feng Wu stomped her foot again. Arg! Feng Qi screamed. It was so painful. Feng Wu stepped on her left hand this time, and it was as swollen as the right one. Granny Zhao and Uncle Chiu exchanged glances, and both saw complicated feelings in each other's eyes. What Feng Wu did was the most satisfying thing. But what about later? How would this end? Lady Gu would never let anyone intimidate her, especially now that her brother had promised her that once he had the beautiful lady, he would give Lady Gu's husband a promotion. Therefore, Lady Gu decided that under no circumstances would she give that letter to Feng Wu. Still no? That's very thorough of you. Feng Wu smirked, picked up Feng Qi, and walked away. Where are you taking her? Lady Gu panicked. Feng Wu ignored her and told Uncle Chiu and Granny Zhao, let's go. She had remained very calm and knew that if she broke into a fight here, Uncle Chiu and Granny Zhao would become collateral damage, but things would be very different if she made Fallen Star Yard the battlefield. She had set up a formation there. Once it was activated, it would be very difficult for an outsider to break in. Feng Wu dragged Feng Qi all the way back to Fallen Star Yard, as if she was a ragged doll. Lady Gu chased her there as well. Where's Granny Wong? Tell her to come back right now. Lady Gu was almost in tears. She had sent Granny Wong to her brother's residence to deliver the letter. She had to have that letter on hand so that she could give it to Feng Wu as a last resort. I'll go after her. Steward Ding immediately scrambled to his feet and dashed off. What he didn't know was that the overexcited Granny Wong had been urging the carriage to go faster. Therefore, when Steward Ding caught up with her, she was already leaving Lord Gu's residence. Steward Ding asked, Where is the letter? Granny Wong said, I've already handed it over. Steward Ding asked, Who did you give it to? Granny Wong said, I was going to give it to Mrs. Gu, but Lord Gu was there, so he took it. Chapter 2265, Feng Wu the Ruler 2. Chapter 2265, Feng Wu the Ruler 2. Steward Ding was terrified. Things wouldn't be too difficult if Mrs. Gu had the letter, but it was in Lord Gu's hands, and he was a very scary person. Meanwhile, in the Feng clan, Feng Wu had left Feng Qi in a corner, and she leaned against a broken wall. Qiuling had partly destroyed the wall when she kicked Qingyi earlier, and they hadn't repaired it yet. Feng Qi's face was twisted with hatred. Despite her predicament, Feng Qi still threatened Feng Wu. "Feng Wu, I'm warning you. Release me now." Feng Wu didn't even look at her as she went on writing inscriptions on an iron pole. Her inscription skills had improved again, and she would soon be a level 8 inscription master. Feng Qi took a deep breath and glared at Feng Wu. "You probably don't know what a dangerous thing you're doing right now. Yes, you have your cultivation ability back, and you're even a little bit better than me. But so what? No one in this clan is on your side. Your mother is an imbecile. She can't help you. No one knows if she has a family, because your grandparents have never shown up. But judging by your mother's condition, she can't be from an influential family. Feng Wu, you're on your own. No matter how tough you are, you're still useless. Have you forgotten about my mother's family? Even if the Feng family won't do anything, the Gu family will get revenge for us. Do you know who the Gu family is? We're one of the 10 major clans, and my uncle is a lord. He's one of the most influential people in the empire. I'm warning you. Let me go now, or when the Gu family comes, they'll wipe out your entire family. Feng Wu, you better be smart." Even now, Feng Qi was still as proud as a peacock. Feng Wu worked quickly on the inscriptions. When Feng Qi finished, she also finished painting the iron pole. She told Qiuling, "Tie her up there." Qiuling never questioned Feng Wu's orders. She picked up Feng Qi and tied her onto the pole without any difficulty. Feng Wu clapped her hands, and the iron pole stood up in the middle of Fallen Star Yard. "Ah!" Feng Qi screamed in terror. Because Feng Wu began to pull her up the pole the way one would hoist a flag. "Feng Wu, you're dead. I'm going to kill you." Humiliated, Feng Qi went on threatening Feng Wu. But Feng Wu simply ignored her. Granny Zhao and Uncle Qiu stared at Feng Wu in disbelief. They were already shocked when Feng Wu destroyed Wave Yard, but now she had taken Feng Qi hostage and was hanging her up on a pole. To make it worse, the pole was swaying in the wind. Because the wall of Fallen Star Yard was broken, people outside could see what was going on. Lady Gu arrived at that moment. Chapter 2266, Feng Wu the Ruler 3. Chapter 2266, Feng Wu the Ruler 3. Lady Gu arrived in time to see her beloved daughter dangling in midair. Feng Qi screamed like a pig being slaughtered while Feng Wu sat in the courtyard, sipping some wine. Lady Gu cried out and immediately tried to run into Fallen Star Yard. But, what she didn't know was that Fallen Star Yard was protected by a formation. They hadn't used it on her before because they hadn't treated her as an enemy then. But now, the formation had been activated. Lady Gu ran into the formation and rebounded from the impact. Her forehead quickly red and swollen. It hurt. She felt dizzy and almost lost her balance. This is outrageous. Lady Gu had never felt so frustrated before. For the first time, she didn't know what to do. "Where's my husband? Go find him, and bring Lady Wang here. And Master Feng, Yin Feng as well. Isn't he the head of the clan? He needs to take care of this." No matter how many times Lady Gu tried, she couldn't do anything about the formation. Granny Ding said, "My lady, your husband isn't at home, and we can't get in touch with him yet, nor can we find Master Feng Yin Feng. But Lady Wang is still in Flying Snow Building. Go get her. She's the only one who has the authority now." Lady Gu shouted. Granny Ding immediately went to Flying Snow Building. In fact, Lady Wang had already received the news. Granny Gue was reporting to her in a calm voice, "My lady, Miss Wu and the third branch are at war now." Lady Wang sipped her tea and said, "So what? It's not like Feng Wu will tear their house apart." Granny Gue said, "My lady, That's exactly what she did. Lady Wong's eyes widened. What? Granny Gui couldn't hide the satisfaction in her tone. She then described how Feng Wu had charged into Waveyard and taken it apart. Lady Wong was shocked. Is that girl really so bold? On second thought, Lady Wong realized that Feng Wu had always been so bold. She had killed Feng Lu, after all. Granny Gui didn't know what Lady Wong was thinking and went on in an excited tone. Not only did Miss Wu crush Miss Chi's hands, she also snatched her and told Lady Gu she would exchange her for the marriage letter. Lady Wong was thrilled. If Feng Chi also died, she wouldn't feel so sad for her own daughter. Granny Gui, if Feng Wu really gets Feng Chi killed. Granny Ding arrived at that moment. Lady Wong couldn't refuse to go, but she took her time. Fallen Star Yard. Lady Gu took Lady Wong's hands and cried, "Sister-in-law, are you seeing this? Not only did Feng Wu destroy my Waveyard, she also took my daughter. Has she lost her mind? You have to help me." Lady Wong saw Feng Chi dangling on the pole and felt a little satisfied. She was a good actor, however, so she walked toward the courtyard and said loudly, "Xiao Wu, listen to me. Put your cousin down." Feng Wu ignored her. Chapter 2267, Feng Wu the Ruler 4. Chapter 2267, Feng Wu the Ruler 4. Lady Wong turned to Lady Gu and said in resignation, "That girl has always been so willful. What should we do now? We can't let Xiao Qi stay up there. She'll get hurt." Lady Gu stared at Lady Wong in disbelief. Being the wife of the head of the clan, Lady Wong had always had a condescending demeanor, and Lady Wong had always respected her. But in this situation, was that all she would do now? "Sister-in-law, order Feng Wu to stop." Lady Gu stared at Lady Wong. With no other choice, Lady Wong had to move closer. The front gate was shut, so she wanted to get in through the broken wall. However, thump, she also bumped into the formation. Luckily, she didn't use much force, so her forehead was only a little red. Lady Wong frowned. Why has the girl activated her formation again? "Xiao Wu, please release your cousin." Feng Wu still ignored her. Lady Wong shrugged and told Lady Gu, "I'm sorry to admit this, but ever since that girl found her patron, she stopped listening to me altogether." "A patron? Who?" Lady Gu frowned. Lady Wong said in a surprised tone, "Do you not know?" Lady Gu asked, "What did I miss?" Lady Wong said, "Everyone has been saying how well His Royal Highness has been treating Feng Wu. He has to be fond of her and wants to marry her." Lady Gu stared at Lady Wong in disbelief. "Sister-in-law, have you been at home for too long? How can you believe such rumors?" Lady Wong feigned an innocent tone. "What do you mean?" Lady Gu smirked. "I've heard that rumor as well, but the version I heard was that His Royal Highness only treats Feng Wu as a bed-warming maid. She's not even a concubine, let alone will she marry the crown prince. To His Royal Highness, Feng Wu is no better than a pet. Sister-in-law, you put too much confidence in her." Lady Wong said deliberately, "But I heard." Lady Gu waved her off. "I asked my brother's wife, and she told me so. It has to be true. Just use your common sense. His Royal Highness would never fall in love with Feng Wu." "Is that so?" Lady Wong pretended to be persuaded, but she was laughing inwardly. Seeing Lady Wong's attitude, Lady Gu knew that her sister-in-law wouldn't be of much help, so she sent more people to find her husband and Feng Yanfeng. Meanwhile, Lady Wong hinted to her own servants that they shouldn't bring the news to Feng Yanfeng. That way, the war between Feng Wu and Lady Gu would last longer. Granny Gui took the hint and walked away. Meanwhile, Lady Gu's husband was on his way. His name was Feng Yinya. He had just come back from a dinner party held by his colleague. It had been a pleasant night until Steward Ding found him halfway and told him to hurry back home. When Steward Ding told him what happened, Feng Yinya was amused. "Nonsense. Waveyard was taken apart, and Xiao Qi was taken away by that useless Feng Wu? You gotta be kidding me." He didn't believe a word Steward Ding said. Steward Ding was almost in tears. He didn't know how to persuade Feng Yinya, so he had to lead him to Waveyard. Feng Yinya was speechless. Lady Gu and the others are all at Fallen Star Yard now. A servant reported to Feng Yinya. Chapter 2268, Feng Wu the Ruler 5. Chapter 2268, Feng Wu the Ruler 5. Feng Yinya immediately headed for Fallen Star Yard. He looked like a volcano that was ready to erupt. How dare that useless Feng Wu do this? Who does she think she is? His rage reached its peak when he arrived at Fallen Star Yard. Master, panic-stricken, Lady Gu had been staring nervously at Feng Qi, who was swaying on the iron pole like a flag. It just so happened that she was wearing a colorful dress today, which made her look even more like a flag. "Where's Qi? Where's my daughter?" Feng Yinya shouted. She's there." Lady Gu pointed at the flag in midair. Feng Qi saw her father from afar and shouted, "Father, help me. Kill Feng Wu." Feng Yinya glared at Lady Gu. Lady Gu immediately said, "It was Feng Wu. She put Qi there." Feng Yinya turned to look at Fallen Star Yard. Through the gap in the broken wall, he could see Feng Wu casually sipping her wine, which enraged him even more. He charged at her, wanted to snatch her and hang her up on the pole. "But, watch out!" Lady Gu shouted, but it was too late. Whoosh! Feng Yinya bumped into the formation. The transparent shield cracked a little, but Feng Yinya's forehead swelled up as well. It looked very painful. Feng Yinya was furious. "Damn you! Deactivate this formation right now." Feng Yinya threatened Feng Wu. Feng Wu glanced at him, then ignored him. The way she looked at him made him feel like a clown. "You defiant girl. Are your parents all dead? They never taught you anything. They're so useless." Feng Yinya had always been short-tempered, and he didn't exactly choose the right words when he cursed Feng Wu. Feng Wu couldn't care less if he said bad things about her, but he was insulting her parents, and that was something she wouldn't stand for. She narrowed her eyes and gave the pole a quick shove. Thump! The pole was very thin. It bent at the force until the tip almost touched the ground. Feng Wu smirked, looking satisfied. "Ah!" Feng Qi screamed at the top of her lungs as the pole swayed violently from side to side. "Dad, help me!" Feng Yinya was still cursing Feng Wu when this happened. He stared at the pole in disbelief. Lady Gu reacted first. She grabbed Feng Yinya's hand and said, "Help our daughter." Feng Yinya was practically spitting flames from his eyes. He leaped into the air in Feng Qi's direction. He wanted to untie her from the pole. However, it wasn't as simple as he imagined. Something happened when he was about to reach Feng Qi. Chapter 2269, His Royal Highness Takes Side, 1. Chapter 2269, His Royal Highness Takes Side, 1. Something happened when he was about to reach Feng Qi. Feng Wu must have set a trap on Feng Qi, because when Feng Yinya touched Feng Qi, lightning flashed across the sky. There was a crackling noise. Both Feng Yinya and Feng Qi were shocked with electricity. Ah! Feng Qi was almost charred. She shouted in terror, "Father, don't touch me." She struggled and tried to kick at Feng Yinya. Feng Yinya wasn't any better. The formation Feng Wu set up had a rule. The greater the impact, the greater the backlash. Feng Yinya had tried to break the formation to save Feng Qi. As a result, the backlash he received was quite severe. The air was filled with a crackling sound. Feng Yinya was covered by sparks and looked quite eye-catching from afar. He fell to the ground with smoke rising from his body. The fall was so painful that he was almost in tears. "Master! Master!" Lady Gu had never expected something like this to happen. She rushed over in tears and held Feng Yinya in her arms. "What happened? Yinya, are you all right?" Feng Yinya was burnt from head to toe, and his face was twisted with pain. Before he could speak, a shadow fell over him. Feng Yinya looked up and stared at Feng Wu, who had walked out of the formation. In the moonlight, she had an otherworldly beauty. Before Feng Yinya could say anything, Feng Wu said, "That's what you get for insulting my parents." Feng Yinya was furious, but he couldn't do anything. Lady Gu glared at Feng Wu. "Feng Wu, are you going to turn the entire family into your enemy?" Feng Wu didn't reply. Instead, she looked up at Feng Qi and said casually, "I think it's going to snow." She headed back into the formation after that. What did that mean? Lady Gu was so angry that she couldn't utter a word. Go to hell. Feng Yinya took out the dagger hidden in his sleeve and struck at the back of Feng Wu's head. He was sure that he could kill Feng Wu. But to his surprise, Feng Wu disappeared from sight, and his dagger ended up smashing into the ground. Feng Yinya was speechless. He couldn't understand what had just happened. He was a level 3 spiritual elder. That made him a very capable member of the Feng clan. But now, he couldn't even handle a girl. He began to question his own ability. Yinya, what should we do now? Lady Gu looked from Feng Qi to Feng Yinya and panicked. Let's go back first. Feng Yinya glared at the front gate of Fallen Star Yard. Go back. They didn't have any place to go now. Lady Gu wanted to cry again. Let's go see Lady Wang. Feng Yinya smirked. My brother is the leader of the clan. We'll let him handle it once he comes back. Chapter 2270. His Royal Highness Takes Side 2. Chapter 2270. His Royal Highness Takes Side 2. So where's Feng Yinfeng now? After work, Feng Yinfeng lingered for a while in a pub until he was half drunk. He then rode back home. When he reached the front gate, a servant rushed out and shouted, Master Feng. Feng Yinfeng was preoccupied and didn't pay much attention to his horse. The horse was startled. It reared up on its hind legs and threw Feng Yinfeng to the ground. Frustrated, Feng Yinfeng wanted to hit the servant, but the latter immediately told him in a low voice, Master Feng. Miss Wu took Wave Yard apart, snatched Miss Qi, and hung her up on a pole. Lady Gu and Master Feng Yinyao went to get Miss Qi back, but they were both injured. They are both in Flying Snow Building now, waiting for you to handle it for them. The young servant blurted out everything in one go, without pausing for breath. What? It took Feng Yinfeng a while to digest the news. He immediately jumped onto the horse and dashed off. He had no plan to get involved in this mess. Feng Yinya could fight with Feng Wu all he wanted. The next second, he was out of sight. Feng Yinya and Lady Gu grew impatient in Flying Snow Building. Granny Gue came back at that moment and brought news of Feng Yinfeng. His Majesty has summoned Master Feng Yinfeng, and he probably won't come back tonight. Lady Gu was worried sick. My brother-in-law isn't avoiding us, is he? Lady Wang smiled wryly. Sister-in-law, what are you talking about? If His Majesty has summoned him, it has to be important. Lady Gu ignored her. She gritted her teeth and told her husband, Wait here. I'll get someone from my family. If the Feng family won't take care of it, the Gu family will. She dashed off after that. Gosh, sister-in-law, wait. Lady Wang pretended to run after her, but soon stopped. Seeing Lady Gu disappear into the distance, Lady Wang smiled in satisfaction. Lord Yongxing's residence. Brother. Lady Gu rushed into the house. Unfortunately, Lord Gu wasn't there, but Mrs. Gu was. She hadn't heard about the incident and greeted Lady Gu with a smile. Why the rush? Do you need anything? Just talk to me. Lady Gu hesitated a little. She was trying to find a new concubine for her brother, but here was her sister-in-law. However, she soon made up a story. Sister-in-law. Lady Gu burst into tears. The Feng family is outrageous. They're abusing my daughter. It was just bickering between two cousins, but Feng Wu, seeing how sad Lady Gu was, Mrs. Gu was convinced that someone had mistreated Lady Gu. When Mrs. Gu married into the Gu family, Lady Gu had only been 5 years old. To Mrs. Gu, Lady Gu was like a daughter. She immediately said, Don't cry. Tell me everything. You're a daughter of the Gu family and as prestigious as a princess. No one can disrespect you. Lady Gu cried even harder. She told Mrs. Gu a story about how Feng Wu had bullied Feng Qi and didn't mention a word about a new concubine. Chapter 2271. His Royal Highness Takes Side 3. Chapter 2271. His Royal Highness Takes Side 3. What? As expected, Mrs. Gu was enraged by the story. How could she destroy your home over a petty quarrel? And did you say that she hung Shao Qi up like a flag? This is outrageous. Does she think that she can do such things without being punished? How dare that Feng Wu? Lady Gu smirked. Doesn't she have His Royal Highness as her patron? Mrs. Gu said, that's not true at all. She's just using His Royal Highness's reputation to abuse other people. Mrs. Gu had noticed that Lord Gu had been distancing himself from her lately, and she had been trying to do something to impress him. She saw this incident as the opportunity she needed. Zhong, what are your levels now? She asked two guards. Zhong said, I'm a level 4 spiritual lord. He said, so am I. Mrs. Gu nodded. Take some servants with you and go to the Feng family. I like to see what that girl can do. To her, a level 4 spiritual lord was more capable than she could imagine. Just like Lady Gu, she thought that 2 such guards would be more than enough to handle Feng Wu. Hence, Lady Gu thanked her sister-in-law and led the large group of people back to the Feng family. While she was on her way back, to show her enthusiasm, Lady Wang had been waiting for Lady Gu outside the front gate. Seeing Lady Gu come back, Lady Wang feigned a concerned tone and said, Sister-in-law, you've brought back so many people. Are you sure about this? Lady Wang felt a little sorry. Were things going to end so soon? She hadn't had enough fun yet. Lady Gu was very excited. She took Lady Wang's hands and said, Sister-in-law, I've brought these capable men from my family. Zhong and Yi here are both captains of the guard. Lady Wang praised Zhong and Yi. Lady Gu said, they're both level 4 spiritual lords. I like to see the look on Feng Wu's face. Lady Wang gave Lady Gu a strange look. Lady Gu was perplexed. Sister-in-law, what's wrong? You're not worried about Feng Wu, are you? Don't worry. I won't kill her. She then clenched her fists and said, she'll just wish that she was dead. In your dreams, thought Lady Wang. At an angle Lady Gu couldn't see, Lady Wang gave her a you idiot look. Level 4 spiritual lords? Come on. Feng Wu had killed plenty of level 6 spiritual lords on their way back. That girl seemed to make progress every single day. God knew what level she was at now. Having 2 level 4 spiritual lords fight Feng Wu was like sending sheep to fight a tiger. Lady Wang almost couldn't be bothered to watch the fight. Sister-in-law, come to Fallen Star Yard with me. I'll beat her up until she begs for forgiveness. Lady Wang was speechless. Well, sister-in-law, why don't you get Chi back? A girl of her age won't want many people to see her like that. I'll go check the warehouse and help you build a new courtyard. Hence, Lady Gu let Lady Wang go back to her own business. Chapter 2272. His Royal Highness Takes Sides 4. Chapter 2272. His Royal Highness Takes Sides 4. Lady Gu led the group of people toward Fallen Star Yard without knowing that there was a guest there. Feng Sun almost tripped on the formation when he jumped over the wall. Xiao Wu, why has the formation been activated again? I thought you said that it cost too many spiritual stones. The higher the level of the formation was, the more spiritual stones it would cost. Feng Wu was too busy with her work and ignored Feng Sun. Feng Sun didn't mind it either. Moving closer, he saw that she was writing inscriptions on the roof tiles. The inscriptions seemed ordinary, but there was something intimidating about them. What are you doing? Feng Sun asked curiously. It's a ghost formation. Feng Wu grinned. What's that? Feng Sun asked curiously. Feng Wu pointed at the sky. I thought that the thunder formation alone would be enough, but it seems that someone needs to be taught more than a lesson. Following her finger, Feng Sun finally realized what was wrong. Hey, when was this set up? What is it? Feng Sun patted the pole, making it sway back and forth. Stop it! Stop! Help! He heard the voice above his head. What? At a closer look, Feng Sun noticed the girl. Is that a person up there? What's she doing on top of the pole? Qiuling almost burst into laughter. Feng Sun looked at Feng Wu in confusion. Who's that girl? Feng Wu said, That's Feng Qi. Feng Sun asked, Who's that? Feng Wu put down her pen and said, Young Lord Feng, do you realize that I'm writing level 7 inscriptions? Feng Sun rubbed his chin in embarrassment. Ahem, I'll stop talking. She doesn't need to be so intimidating, thought Feng Sun. But he knew how impressive level 7 inscriptions were. In the entire Imperial capital, not many people could do it. If she rose to level 8, even fewer people would be able to do it. Feng Sun walked up to Qiuling and asked her what happened. Qiuling pulled Feng Sun to the side and told him what Feng Qi and her family had done. Feng Sun's eyes widened in surprise. He then gave Feng Wu the thumbs up. That was indeed something she would do. However, those people had tried to marry the beautiful lady off. Did they have a death wish? By the way, what are you doing here? Feng Wu looked up at Feng Sun. Feng Sun smacked his head. Gosh, I almost forgot. Wait here. He was gone as soon as he finished speaking. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. That was very Feng Sun. Feng Qi was still shouting in midair, but Feng Wu completely ignored her and concentrated on guarding Fallen Star Yard. In the Crown Prince's residence outside the Imperial Palace. Boss Jun, Boss Jun. Feng Sun ran into the residence to find the Crown Prince cultivating on the roof. He heard Feng Sun, but didn't reply. Seeing this, Feng Sun didn't disturb him. He asked Feng instead, Steward Feng, that fire dragon rod which the Western states sent as their yearly tribute, do we still have it? All the states and kingdoms would send rare treasures to the imperial capital, and the Crown Prince was usually the first to see all of them. Only those he didn't want would go into the imperial vault. Chapter 2273. His Royal Highness Takes Side 5. Chapter 2273. His Royal Highness Takes Side 5. Feng said, It's in the warehouse. Feng Sun said, I need to borrow it. It's urgent. Feng chuckled. I have the authority to take weapons out of the warehouse, but young Lord Feng, you should at least tell me what you need it for. Feng Sun then told him what Feng Wu was doing. He added, It looks like that girl is ready for a big fight. I'm looking forward to it. I remember that the fire dragon rod has an adhesive quality. Feng nodded. That's right. Any enemy within the rod's attack range will be caught by the force and won't be able to get away. Let me borrow it, Feng Su said. We all know that Xiao Wu cares more about the beautiful lady than anyone else. How dare Feng Yinya and his family try to do such a thing? I'd like to see them try and touch Xiao Wu. Feng seemed to be talking to Feng Sun, but he was stealing glances at the Crown Prince. He noticed that the Crown Prince's mind had wandered off. Only 2 hours ago, the teenager had kicked over a table, saying that he would never see the girl again, but it now seemed that he couldn't wait to go to her. Feng feigned a concerned tone. Is Miss Wu going to fight the third branch of the Feng clan on her own? Feng Sun told the truth. The third branch isn't all she has to fight against. There's the first branch as well. She's practically fighting the entire Feng clan. Feng said, That's very dangerous. Feng Sun said, You don't say. I heard that Lady Gu even went to get help from her own home. They're trying to corner Xiao Wu. I'm off. I need to give her this rod. Feng Sun dashed off. Feng then looked up at the Crown Prince. The look on his face was a mixture of concern and anger. One would never expect to see so many expressions on his face. Feng fought back a smile and looked down at his feet. Why are you still standing here? The Crown Prince jumped off the roof and asked a question in a cold voice. Feng asked, Your Royal Highness, what do you mean? The Crown Prince shot an angry glance at him. Feng said deliberately, It's late. Your Royal Highness, would you like to go to bed? The Crown Prince was furious. Feng said, Or would you like to take a walk? By the way, young Lord Feng came when you were cultivating, and he told me something. He then repeated the story Feng Sun had told him, and concluded with a sigh. I feel so sorry for Miss Wu. It was a dangerous trip, and when she finally came back home, something like this happened. She's all by herself, and there are no siblings to help her. I don't know if she can handle it. Jun Linyuan didn't say anything. Feng said, According to young Lord Feng, everyone is against Miss Wu now. Feng Lu, the daughter of the first branch, is dead because of her, so of course, Feng Yinfeng holds a grudge against her. The third branch also wants to take advantage of her family. And there's also the Gu family. Poor Miss Wu. Chapter 2274. His Royal Highness Takes Side 6. Chapter 2274. His Royal Highness takes side 6. Feng glanced at the crown prince as he spoke. The teenager was frowning and seemed to feel sorry for Feng Wu. He decided to give him one last push. The crown prince snorted. Do you feel sorry for her? Why? She's so bold. She ran off as soon as she left the carriage. She's more proud than you think. Feng said, well, she's been away from home for a while, and she misses her mother. The crown prince complained. Couldn't she just tell me so? Why couldn't she bring me with her? Did she have to avoid me? Judging by the look on his face, one would think that Feng Wu had bullied the crown prince. Jun Linyuan went on. She's so stupid. I'm a great patron, so why doesn't she make good use of it? Say my name, and no one will dare to touch her. Feng thought, Your Royal Highness, you're probably the person she wants to avoid the most. But he didn't dare to say that, because it would definitely set the crown prince off. His Royal Highness said, Isn't she stupid? Feng said, Yes. The crown prince said angrily, How dare you humiliate her? Feng had a headache now and hoped that someone would get the crown prince out of his sight. He said, People say that your Royal Highness only treats her as a bed-warming maid. Hearing that, the crown prince kicked the pillar of the pavilion next to him. The pavilion immediately collapsed. She knows perfectly well that she's not. He then kicked around some stones on the ground. The last time Feng saw that look, it was on the face of a 7-year-old. He had never expected to see such a look on the crown prince's face. She's such an idiot. The crown prince walked away. Your Royal Highness, are we going to stay out of it? Feng asked. The crown prince turned around and glared at him. Don't be so dumb. Tell those people that no spiritual king is allowed to get involved. Try it, and the Gu family won't be a major clan anymore. He walked away after that. Feng was speechless. Despite calling Feng Wu an idiot, the crown prince still took her side. Feng Wu was a level 9 spiritual lord now. That was to say, as long as no spiritual king was involved, no one could defeat her. The crown prince was so. Feng rubbed his nose. He decided to see how things played out and would only show up when the time was right. The crown prince should learn some strategy. If he gave his help willingly, the girl wouldn't think much of it. She would only cherish it if the help came just in time. Feng Wu had no idea that the crown prince had set up such a rule for this fight. Right now, she was looking at Feng Sun curiously. Feng Sun was showing her the weapon he had just fetched from the crown prince's residence. No one can get away from this fire dragon rod if they're caught by it. Isn't it great? Feng Sun gloated. Feng Wu weighed it in her hand and saw that it was indeed a nice weapon. Together with her ground control, she would be quite invincible. Just then, she heard an angry shout outside. Feng Wu, come out here and meet your death. Lady Gu was very arrogant now that she had help. Chapter 2275, Battle 1. Chapter 2275, Battle 1. Frowning, Feng Wu walked out with the fire dragon rod in her hand. She then saw dozens of people waiting outside. That's very bold of you, walking out like this. Lady Gu smirked. Release Chi now, and I'll spare your life. Otherwise, you'd wish you were dead. Feng Wu glanced at the group of people behind Lady Gu. The two men behind her were the most capable ones, and they were both level 4 spiritual lords. I'd wish I were dead. Feng Wu found it to be a very presumptuous claim. Are you sure you can do that with these people? Lady Gu glared at her. Feng Wu, you're going to pay for what you said. I don't think you know this, but they're both. She pointed at Zhong and Yi. They're both level 4 spiritual lords. Feng Wu said, I know that. Lady Gu was done talking to Feng Wu. She waved her hand and said, Take her down. Zhong and he nodded at each other. They couldn't detect any spiritual essence on Feng Wu and decided that she was completely useless. The two men couldn't be bothered to deal with her and thought that the ordinary guards they brought would be enough. With a wave of Zhong's hand, the 20 people behind him charged at Feng Wu. Feng Wu gripped the fire dragon rod. Feng Sun says that this stick has an adhesive quality. I'd like to try it. As she spoke, the guards had almost reached her. Miss Wu, watch out. Behind her, Granny Zhao and Uncle Chiu cried out. They still didn't know what it meant to be a level 9 spiritual lord, nor did they know how capable Feng Wu was compared with these people. Xiuling said, "Don't worry. These people are all junior spiritual elders. Even I can easily beat them up, let alone Miss Wu." Even so, Uncle Chiu and Granny Zhao were still nervous. At the same time, Feng Wu raised the fire dragon rod. Thump, 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 crack, 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 bang. Screams filled the air. The men who charged at Feng Wu were sent flying backward and fell to the ground. They cried in pain with tears running down their faces. Feng was amazing. She made sure that she broke a bone whenever she hit them, and those men all rolled around on the ground and screamed in pain. Both Zhong and Yi were astonished. Lady Gu was shocked as well. She stared at Feng Wu in disbelief and said, "How can this be?" Everything had taken place in the blink of an eye. Waving the fire dragon rod, Feng Wu beamed at her. "I'm very efficient when it comes to beating up mad dogs." "Who are you calling a mad dog?" He was furious. The next second, he charged at Feng Wu with a sword in his hand. Uncle Chiu cried out, "Watch out!" Ding! As soon as he said that, the rod clashed with the sword. Chapter 2276, Battle 2. Chapter 2276, Battle 2. The impact immediately snapped the sword in half, but the rod didn't stop. Thump! It hit Yi on the forehead. Blood ran down Yi's face. It felt like he was going to bleed to death. Lady Gu couldn't believe her eyes. According to her sister-in-law, the two guards were supposed to be level 4 spiritual lords. Why were they so easily defeated? Ew. Zhong's face darkened. That girl had barely used a full stance to knock Yi out. Zhong didn't think that things would be much different for him. Feng Wu waved the rod as she approached Lady Gu with a smile. "Didn't you say that I would wish I were dead? I'd like to see what you've got." Although Feng Wu was smiling, Lady Gu felt that she was facing a wolf. She was frightened. She then shoved Zhong. "It's your turn." Zhong was speechless. There was nothing he could do because he was on the same level as Yi. He would end up the same as Yi. He cleared his throat and said, "Miss Wu, I'm sure we can reach some sort of agreement." Feng Wu smiled faintly. "No, we can't. If you want to live, kneel on the ground and call Lady Gu a bitch 10 times. That way, I'll spare your life." "What?" Zhong was dumbfounded. He didn't know what to do. Lady Gu stared at Feng Wu and shouted, "How dare you?" Feng Wu started counting down. Zhong weighed the pros and cons. As the captain of Lord Gu's guards, if he insulted Lady Gu, he would still be dead, so he drew out his sword. Poof! His right arm was severed and fell to the ground. Blood gushed out, splashing all over Lady Gu. Lady Gu screamed, "Miss Feng Wu, I've cut off my arm. I apologize for having offended you." After that, he picked Yi up and walked away. The other servants who were lying all over the ground were in awe of Feng Wu. Seeing Zhong and Yi leave, they left as well. Soon, only Lady Gu was left behind. Feng Wu grinned at her, but she glared at Feng Wu. "You defeated a level 4 spiritual lord. What level are you at now? Level 5? Lady Gu's voice was shaking. Feng Wu said, "Aunt, would you like to try it?" Lady Gu said, "Do you think that you're invincible now? I won't give up. I've never been defeated before. I'll be back." She wanted to leave after that. On guard, Feng Wu narrowed her eyes. "Wait." Feng Wu watched her from behind and said, "Do you think you can come and go just like that, after you brought a group of minions here?" Seeing the look in Feng Wu's eyes, Lady Gu felt a chill run down her spine. "What do you want, then?" Feng Wu jerked her chin in Zhong's direction. "In your dreams." Lady Gu glared at Feng Wu. "Who do you think you are? You can't order me to cut off my hand." Chapter 2277, Battle 3. Chapter 2277, Battle 3. Feng Wu smiled. Whoosh! She drew out her fallen star sword. The sword struck down. The sword was back in its sheath. It finished the job in a split second and only then did Lady Gu realize that her right hand had been cut off at the wrist. She was speechless for 3 seconds before she felt the excruciating pain. "Ah!" she screamed at the top of her lungs. "Ah!" One could tell how much pain she was in just by listening to her. Granny Zhao looked worshipfully at Feng Wu, as if she were a god, but she was frightened at the same time. "Miss Wu, that's your aunt." She had been shocked when she heard that Feng Lu was dead, but it wasn't as shocking as witnessing Feng Wu cutting off Lady Gu's hand. Feng Wu smiled a little. "If the people she brought here were more powerful than me, what do you think she would have done?" Granny Zhao said, "Well, that's true." Feng Wu said, "Not only would she make me wish I were dead, she would also torture every single one of you as well. Since she provoked me first, she needs to live with the consequences. I've been keeping a low profile for too long. They all think that I'm a defenseless bunny." She was right. What she did had terrified all those people, especially Zhong. He stared at Lady Gu in astonishment and believed that Feng Wu meant it when she said that she would kill her. She was such a fiend. Overwhelmed with rage and pain, Lady Gu fainted. Zhong, who had gone pale from the loss of blood, caught Lady Gu before she hit the ground. He looked at Feng Wu and said in a solemn tone, "Miss Feng Wu, you've made a very big mistake." Feng Wu crossed her hands behind her back. "Really?" Zhong said, "You've humiliated Lord Gu, and there will be consequences." Feng Sun appeared behind Feng Wu and grinned. "Really? I like to see what he can do." "Young Lord Feng." Zhong was once again astonished. No wonder Miss Feng Wu was so bold. Young Lord Feng was behind her. Zhong said, "Young Lord Feng, I hope you'll be able to keep your hands." Feng Sun let out a sigh of relief when all the people left. He jabbed a finger in Feng Wu's head and said in a surprised tone, "Little Feng Wu, you could be so astonishing sometimes. I'm not bold enough to cut off my aunt's hand, but you are. You're so fierce now." Feng Wu looked at him in such an adorable way that his heart melted. Feng Sun said, "Fine, fine. They came after you first. I'm sure Lady Gu is to be blamed for everything." Feng Wu nodded repeatedly. Feng Sun said, "But that man wasn't lying. You've just humiliated Lord Gu, and he won't forgive you for that." "Let me think of something." Feng Wu asked, "What level is Lord Gu at?" Feng Sun said, "Forget it. He's a spiritual king at least." Feng Wu said, "All right." Feng Sun crossed his hands behind his back and said, "Most times, if a major family like this is humiliated, they like to put pressure on the family of their opponent." Chapter 2278, Battle 4. Chapter 2278, Battle 4. Feng Sun looked at Feng Wu. After the old generation of the Feng clan passed away, there weren't many talented people left. Even the guards left you, making your family an easy target. Feng Sun said, "So, in my opinion, the first thing Lord Gu will do is to put pressure on the Feng clan, asking them to punish you." Qiuling asked nervously, "Young Lord Feng, what will happen to Miss Wu?" Feng Sun said, "What will happen to her? It'll be serious. The best scenario is to make her cut off her own arm. Worst comes to worst, all the people in Fallen Star Yard will be killed." Qiuling, Granny Zhao, and Uncle Qiu all cried out. Feng Wu said, "Stop trying to scare them." Feng Sun said solemnly, "Xiao Wu, I like teasing people, but I'm very serious now. What would other people think of Lord Gu if he lets you off with a slap on the wrist? They would think that one can disrespect Lord Gu without paying a price. You better watch out. I'll go get some help for you first." After that, Feng Sun jumped out the window and disappeared into the night. "Miss," Granny Zhao looked concerned. Uncle Qiu also wanted to say something, but hesitated. Feng Wu waved them off. "Don't worry. I know what I'm doing." Granny Zhao and Uncle Qiu nodded. That was true. Feng Wu always knew what she was doing. If she could protect her family 5 years ago, when things had been so dangerous, of course, she could protect them now. Meanwhile, true to Feng Sun's worries, things were indeed getting out of hand. "My lady, I have news." Granny Gue, who had been watching Fallen Star Yard, rushed back to Flying Snow Building. Lady Wong was praying to Buddha at that moment. Hearing Granny Gue, she frowned and said, Granny Gue, behave yourself. You're way too old to shout like a young maid. My lady, OMG. Granny Gue didn't know how to express herself. She then lowered her voice and told Lady Wong about what happened in Fallen Star Yard. What? Lady Wong was shocked. Are you sure? Yes. I can't be any more sure. Although I wasn't very close, I saw everything. Feng Wu cut off Lady Gu's hand at the wrist. I saw the hand drop to the ground. Lady Wong was astonished. That girl is so bold. I never thought that she would be so ferocious. Granny Gue sounded glad. It's a full-on war now, and they won't stop until one of them is dead. My lady, we should just sit here and watch them fight to the death. Feng Wu had killed Lady Wong's daughter, and the second branch wanted to replace the first branch. At that thought, Lady Wong nodded excitedly. That's right. Let them scratch each other's eyes out. But, she told Granny Gue, tell my husband to come back now. Granny Gue said, but my lady, didn't you say? Lady Wong said, Lord Gu is bound to make a move, and my husband has to be around, but he can't get involved either. So, she then told Granny Gue her plan. Granny Gue cried out, my lady, that's brilliant. For once, Lady Wong made a smart move. Zhong took Lady Gu back to her brother's place. The entire household was astonished, from Lord Gu's mother to Mrs. Gu. Chapter 2279, Battle 5. Chapter 2279, Battle 5. Lady Gu was her mother's only daughter, and the old lady doted on her. Because of that, Lady Gu grew up to become such an arrogant and stupid woman. My daughter, when the old lady saw the unconscious Lady Gu in her handless arm, she fainted as well. Mother? Mother? Mrs. Gu, try to wake her up. She then told the servants, go get Lord Gu. The old lady woke up when Lord Gu arrived. The first person she saw when she opened her eyes was Lord Gu. The old lady sat up and asked in a hoarse voice, how's your sister? Lord Gu was as calm as ever. He said indifferently, she'll live, but her hand is gone. The old lady almost passed out again. You, my dearest you. After the initial sadness passed, the old lady was filled with rage. The old lady gritted her teeth. Who did this to my daughter? Who? Zhong was brought in, and he told them everything. Because he had been forced to cut off his own arm, he hated Feng Wu. When he told the story, he added a few details and described Feng Wu as an unreasonable and violent girl, while completely omitting everything Lady Gu had said. I won't have it. That's unforgivable. The old lady grabbed Lord Gu's hand and said, kill that Feng Wu. Now, kill that little bitch. The old lady loved her daughter, but Lord Gu was a naturally cold man. When he saw his angry mother and his sister's severed hand, he didn't feel much. However, he was still a son, so he would do his duty. Mother, please don't be mad. I'll take care of it. Lord Gu nodded. The old lady knew what her son was like, so she gritted her teeth and stared at him. Bring me Feng Wu's head, and you can have the book your father left behind. Lord Gu's eyes flickered, but the light disappeared in a flash. Mother, please get some rest. I'll make the arrangements. Lord Gu walked away. The old lady hated Feng Wu so much that she wanted to eat her alive. Help me stand up. The old lady soon calmed down. Gather everything you can find on that girl. My lady, Granny Zhu hesitated. The old lady smirked. Killing her would be too easy. I'll ruin her reputation and make her wish that she were dead. The old lady had a wicked smile on her face. Granny Zhu swallowed and said, my lady, you know what Lady Gu is like. The second branch of the Feng clan has obviously declined. If it was only a quarrel between Feng Wu and Qi, how could it become so serious? Shouldn't we? Chapter 2280 Battle 7. Chapter 2280 Battle 7. So what? The old lady stared at Granny Zhu and smiled coldly. I don't care how things started. She injured my daughter, and I'll destroy her. No, I'll destroy her whole family. Granny Zhu cringed and didn't dare to say another word. She nodded and left the room. The old lady's cold eyes were filled with hatred. After Lord Gu went back to his study, he sat down and took the marriage letter out of his sleeve. He had asked Gu Xinyue, Lady Gu. She had prevaricated at first, but when he pressed her, she finally told him the truth and told him about the marriage letter. Lord Gu's eyes flickered. The beautiful lady. Lord Gu had seen her from afar, and it was love at first sight. He had always been a cold person, and he thought that he would stay that way. It had never occurred to him that he would fall in love with a woman. The thought of marrying her warmed his heart. He believed that she was the only one that could do that to him. Because of that, he would stop at nothing to get her. She must have agreed, otherwise she wouldn't have signed the letter, but everything changed since Feng Wu came back. Therefore, he believed that Feng Wu was the only obstacle. If that girl was dead, there would be no problem. However, he didn't want to get her blood on his own hands. Go get the head of the Feng clan, Lord Gu told Wang Chun, his personal servant. Knowing that his master was very difficult to please, Wang Chun immediately walked out of the study and closed the door behind him. He soon came back with news of Feng Yanfeng. I arrived at the Feng clan when Master Feng was carried back. His head was wrapped in a blood-stained gauze, and he was covered in blood. He was unconscious. Lady Wang cried and said that she didn't know if Master Feng would survive. If he wakes up, he'll come here immediately. Lord Gu turned the iron ring on his finger and smirked. Smart man. The temperature in the study seemed to drop. Wang Chun felt a chill run down his spine, and his legs trembled. The Lord looked very terrifying when he smiled like that. Does he think that he can hide from me just like that? Lord Gu rose to his feet. Since Master Feng is in such a critical condition, of course, I should check up on him. Lady Wang panicked when she heard that Lord Gu had come in person. What? Lord Gu came here himself. Lady Wang cried out. Granny Gue said, he's already arrived. He's in the main hall now. Feng Yanfeng cried out. He'll immediately see through my fake wounds. Quickly, pour more blood on me. While they ran around in a fluster, someone came back with the news. Lord Gu is heading for Fallen Star Yard. What? Fallen Star Yard? Does he want to catch Feng Wu himself? That formation can never hold a spiritual king. Feng Yanfeng was conflicted. Feng Wu had killed his daughter, but he also felt that she was the future of this family. Meanwhile, in Fallen Star Yard, Chapter 2281, Untitled. Chapter 2281, Untitled. Meanwhile, Feng Wu was playing with the fire dragon rod in Fallen Star Yard. It was a nice weapon. One strike, and she could knock out quite a few people. They couldn't run either, because they would be caught by the rod. Together with ground control, she could pretty much beat up whoever she wanted. Feng Wu was still admiring the weapon when she frowned, because someone was tearing open the formation. Had the Gu family sent someone here again? Only a spiritual king or higher could destroy her formation. At that thought, Feng Wu charged out with the fire dragon rod. She was right. A man in a blue robe stood in the gap in the wall. He was very tall, and there was a ferocious air about him. It was already chilly, and he made the temperature drop even more. However, Feng Wu smiled a little. No one could be as intimidating as Jun Lin Yuan. Since she had gotten used to the crown prince, other people were nothing, no matter how cold they seemed. Therefore, Feng Wu slammed the rod on the ground and stared at the man. Crack! The formation cracked. Who are you? Feng Wu asked coldly. The man moved closer. Feng Wu saw his face. Lord Gu. The two families visited each other quite often, and Feng Wu had met Lord Gu when she was little. Lord Gu didn't speak. He kept his gaze on Feng Wu, and he reminded her of an eagle. With his hands behind his back, he strolled in Feng Wu's direction. He was going to walk past Feng Wu and enter the house. Feng Wu narrowed her eyes and stopped him. Lord Gu, where do you think you're going? Lord Gu darted a severe look at her. I'm going to see Lady Ling. To outsiders, the beautiful lady was known as Lady Ling. Feng Wu was furious. Who gave you permission to call her by that name? Lord Gu glared at her. He then smiled grimly and shoved Feng Wu. Feng Wu was pushed aside and almost bumped into the door frame. Miss Wu. Chilling nervously tried to steady Feng Wu. When she touched Feng Wu, however, it was as if an electric current was running through her. That hurt. Chilling looked down at her hands and saw that they were burnt. She then looked at Feng Wu and saw that her face had darkened as well. There were no obvious marks on her skin, but Chilling could see the sweat rolling down Feng Wu's forehead. Lord Gu was so terrifying. Chilling's stomach lurched. Someone like that had his eye on her lady. What should they do? Feng Wu stared at Lord Gu. It was indeed very painful. For a moment, she thought that she had been hit by lightning, and the burning sensation had almost knocked her unconscious. Luckily, it only lasted for a split second. Feng Wu gritted her teeth and blocked Lord Gu's way again. Stop! She pointed the fire dragon rod at Lord Gu. Seeing that Feng Wu still dared to stop him, there was a surprised look in Lord Gu's eyes. Chapter 2282, Untitled. Chapter 2282, Untitled. Naturally, he knew the impact of that strike. He had wanted to knock Feng Wu out with the pain as a warning. Normal people would never be able to withstand such power. However, not only did Feng Wu withstand the attack, she also blocked his way again. Do you have a death wish? Lord Gu stared at her. If you want to see my mother, you have to kill me first. Feng Wu slammed the fire dragon rod on the ground and looked fearless. Lord Gu couldn't help but glance at her. He remembered something he had heard about Feng Wu. Hadn't it been a few months since she became a Year 2 student at Imperial College? He had 6 sons, and all of them were very talented. The oldest had graduated from Imperial College, and the youngest was still in Year 2. He heard that his son was already the top student in Year 2. Move. If my son bullies you at school, as your father, I'll make it right for you. Lord Gu waved her off as if she was just a kid that shouldn't get involved in adult business. Feng Wu glared at Lord Gu. Wang Chun immediately explained to her, Lord Gu's youngest son is also a Year 2 student in Imperial College, and he's a level 5 spiritual elder. Feng Wu didn't hear him. She was bothered by what Lord Gu had just said. As my father? Who gave you that idea? Feng Wu asked sarcastically. Lord Gu frowned. I'm going to marry your mother. If you want to move into my residence, I'll give you permission to call me father. Feng Wu was furious. However, she told herself that she couldn't let him control her feelings. Otherwise, she would lose completely. The beautiful lady was finally woken up by the noise outside. She rubbed her sleepy eyes and came out of the room. She wore a casual outfit at home. The light pink robe hugged her tiny frame nicely. Her skin was as fair as white jade. She wore no makeup, but still looked as pretty as a picture. Her beauty didn't seem to belong to this world. As soon as she came out, everything else seemed to freeze and fall into the background. She even outshone Feng Wu, who hadn't reached her full potential yet. Lord Gu was so arrogant to Feng Wu, but when the beautiful lady came out, he couldn't look away from her. He was in a trance-like state. Xiao Wu, do we have a guest? The beautiful lady had no idea what was going on. Feng Wu said, he's leaving. All right. The beautiful lady looked curiously at Lord Gu. She jumped when she saw the infatuated look on Lord Gu's face. She hid behind Feng Wu and whispered, Xiao Wu, he's a bad man. Feng Wu said, Mom, did you meet him before? Yes, said the beautiful lady. He wouldn't let go of my hand when he gave me back my handkerchief. He's very bad. She grew agitated. Feng Wu placated her. There. He's the worst. You go in first. I'll chase him away. Feng Wu then glanced at Chilling. Chapter 2283, Untitled. Chapter 2283, Untitled. Chilling nodded and led the lady back into the house. Lord Gu followed her with his eyes and even took a few steps forward. Thump! Chilling slammed the door behind her, blocking Lord Gu's sight. Lord Gu, did you hear that? My mother doesn't like you. Feng Wu crossed her arms and sneered at Gu Guanjuan. Gu Guanjuan was Lord Gu's name, and Guanjuan meant champion. That was how much expectation his family put on him. Lord Gu didn't let them down. He had single-handedly raised the Gu family to its current position. He frowned and said affirmatively, "I'm going to marry her." Feng Wu said sarcastically, "Lord Gu, you still have a wife, don't you?" Lord Gu nodded in silence and looked confused. Feng Wu smirked. "If you still have a wife and you don't want another one, my mother will only be a concubine. I wouldn't call that marrying her." Lord Gu met her eyes. "Do you mind that very much?" Before Feng Wu could reply, Lord Gu nodded and said, "Your wish is granted." Feng Wu's eyes widened, and she was confused. What did he mean? Before she could do anything, Lord Gu took Feng Qi down from the pole. He promptly left after that. "Miss Wu," Granny Zhao was worried when she saw the look on Feng Wu's face. Feng Wu had always been very confident, and she had never frowned like this before. "Let him take Miss Feng Qi, and this thing will end here," said Uncle Chiu. And Feng Wu smiled grimly. Things were just getting started. When Lord Gu arrived at Flying Snow Building with Feng Qi, Feng Yanfeng had already received the news. He lay in bed and pretended to be severely injured. Lord Gu didn't beat around the bush. He only said, "I'm going to marry Lady Ling on New Year's Eve. Master Feng, thank you for your support." Hey, Lord Gu left after that, and Feng Yanfeng couldn't stop him. "For real?" he asked Lady Wang as he ripped off the blood-stained bandages wrapped around him. Lady Wang nodded. "That's right. If Lord Gu says so, it has to be true." But Feng Yanfeng walked back and forth in the room. "But Lord Gu still has a wife. That lady is going to be a concubine. Isn't that a humiliation to our family?" Lady Wang said. "Then what should we do?" Feng Yanfeng murmured. "What would Feng Wu say? She won't have it." Lady Wang suddenly remembered something, and she stared at Feng Yanfeng. "Don't we still have that letter to expel them from the Feng clan? Even His Majesty knows about it." Feng Yanfeng looked at Lady Wang. "What do you mean? Expel Feng Wu and her family from the Feng clan? Don't you want to get revenge for Liu? Just use that as your excuse." Lady Wang grew more excited as she spoke, and even her cheeks twitched. "If they're no longer members of this clan, no matter what that woman becomes, our reputation won't be affected." Feng Yanfeng had the habit of sitting on the fence. Hearing what Lady Wang said, he hesitated. Chapter 2284, Untitled. Chapter 2284, Untitled. And Lady Wang tugged at Feng Yanfeng. "Yes, Feng Wu has been making fast progress and will become the hope of this family. But have you forgotten something? She still remembers how we treated her when she lost her ability 5 years ago." That shocked Feng Yanfeng. Lady Wang knew that her words were effective, and she went on persuading him. "She's only a spiritual lord now, and she's already bold enough to destroy Yinya's house, kidnap her cousin, and cut off her aunt's hand. What will she do when she becomes a spiritual king? Do you think she wouldn't want to replace you?" Feng Yanfeng's stomach lurched. "Nonsense. A woman can't be the leader of a clan." Lady Wang said, "Even so, there's still a male heir in her family. Feng Xiaoqi is still alive." Feng Yanfeng said, "He's no more than 14. Lady Wang snorted. "Have you forgotten about all the young emperors in history? If they could be controlled by the actual ruler hidden behind the curtain, why can't Feng Xiaoqi?" Those words hit Feng Yanfeng in his sore spot. He said, "Well, let me discuss it with the elders." Once he was gone, Lady Wang sat down at the desk, wrote 2 letters, and gave them to Granny Gue. "Send this to the Wang family. They need to get busy now and make the preparations. I'm going to see Mrs. Zhou now." Because of what Feng Wu had done, an elaborate plot against her was forming. Wave Yard was still being repaired, so Feng Qi and her family moved into Sea Yard for the time being. "Dad, Mom." Feng Qi ran toward her parents, crying loudly. "You have to get revenge for me. I'd rather die if we can't kill Feng Wu." Lady Gu had just come back from the Gu family, and she was thrilled to see Feng Qi. She touched Feng Qi's face and nodded. "Don't worry. We can't let it drop either. Death would be too easy. I'll make her wish she were dead." "But Mom, Feng Wu is so powerful now." Feng Qi burst into tears. "What should we do now?" Expunge her from the Feng clan, someone said affirmatively from outside. The family of three turned around and saw that it was Lady Wong. Sister-in-law, Lady Gu wasn't very pleased to see her. She finally saw that Lady Wong only cared about herself. One, she blurted out, "Now that my brother has saved my daughter, you're finally here. I thought I could rely on you and Master Feng Yanfeng, but I see now that I can only count on myself." Lady Wong didn't seem to hear her complaint. She said, "We'll remove Feng Wu and her family from our clan. What do you think?" "What?" Lady Gu and Feng Yinyao looked at each other in astonishment. "Sister-in-law, do you mean it?" Despite his injury, Feng Yinyao jumped out of bed. If Feng Wu was expunged, Feng Qi would become the most talented child in the Feng clan. Chapter 2285, Untitled. Chapter 2285, Untitled. Expunge Feng Wu. Feng Yinyao and his wife asked again, "Are you sure about that?" Lady Wong smiled. Of course. Lady Gu had been quite indifferent toward Lady Wong, but when she heard the news, she was immediately enthusiastic and took Lady Wong's hand. "Can we really do that?" Lady Wong said. "She destroyed Wave Yard and injured all of you. Although that's some serious offense, it's not serious enough to kick her out of the family." She shook her head. "To destroy Feng Wu, we have to make sure that we destroy her for good. Otherwise," Lady Gu said, "Sister-in-law, you mean?" She slid her finger across her neck as she spoke. Lady Wong glanced at her. "Are you going to assassinate her yourself?" Lady Gu was speechless. As a matter of fact, she didn't have any men that she could use to kill Feng Wu. "Moreover, we can't even get into Fallen Star Yard," said Lady Gu in embarrassment. Lady Wong nodded. "Yes, that's why we need a plan." Lady Gu asked, "What plan?" Lady Wong glanced at the couple. "It's not the most decent thing to do, so you'll have to decide if you want to participate or not. After all, it's your house that was destroyed, and you're the one who lost a hand." Hearing that tone, Lady Gu moved closer and said eagerly, "Sister-in-law, we all know that you're the best. Please tell us." Only then did Lady Wong tell her what the plan was. After hearing it, Lady Gu and Feng Yinyao were astonished. They looked at Lady Wong and said in unison, "That's brilliant." Lady Gu never thought that her stupid sister-in-law would be able to come up with such a great idea. "Sister-in-law, that's a very nice plan. If we use it properly, Feng Wu will." Lady Wong nodded. How had she come up with this brilliant plan? Ever since Feng Lu died, getting revenge had been the only thing on her mind. She had gone over it at least 100 times. She had perfected it many times, but Feng Yanfeng had forbidden her from making a move. And now, there was a great opportunity. Recalling Feng Yanfeng's warning, Lady Wong looked at Lady Gu. "I'm only giving you the idea. It's for you to decide if you want to do it or not. I pity you for what happened to your family, and that's why I told you the plan. Of course, if you can move on, I'm more than glad to see everyone in this clan live in harmony." Lady Wong had made sure that she wasn't to be blamed. After all, she couldn't openly offend Feng Wu either. "Of course we can't move on. Sister-in-law, we'll be forever in your debt. We'll thank you properly once we're done with the second branch," Lady Gu said excitedly. Lady Wong nodded and left. Feng Wu had no idea that more than one group of people were plotting against her. She was quite happy right now. That was because she kept hearing these ding-dong sounds. If she was guessing right, those were the remainder of the ninjas being killed. There was a notification for every dead ninja. Emperor Wu was very effective. After he obtained the list, he started hunting down the ninjas. Feng Wu opened the log and saw. Chapter 2286, Untitled. Chapter 2286, Untitled. Feng Wu saw that many of the names had gone gray. There were 77 names in total, and most of them had turned gray. Only 3 were still bright red. They were the leaders of the Jupiter, Mercury, and Venus teams. Feng Wu frowned. From what she had learned so far, they should all be spiritual kings or higher. She had thought that the 3 names would soon turn gray. But no matter how long she stared at those names, they remained bright red. What was going on? Feng Wu bit her lower lip and imagined all the possibilities. Had Emperor Wu failed to catch those people? Had they escaped? She was racking her brain when she heard footsteps outside. Xiao Wu. Chaoga quickly walked into the room. She didn't know what had been going on in Fallen Star Yard because it was an internal affair of the Feng clan. Considering it a humiliation, the people of the Feng clan tried their best to keep the incident a secret. Naturally, the Gu family didn't want other people to hear about it either. Gosh, I'm finally away from that family. It was so exhausting. Chaoga sat down in a chair, took the tea Qiuling handed her, and gulped it down. She then wiped her mouth with her sleeve and said grumpily, "You have no idea what my family is like. My dad and stepmother couldn't wait to throw me out, and my two stepsisters are even worse. But guess what? They're all fawning on me now. They even build a courtyard for me at home, and I get to choose the best things first." Chaoga pursed her lips. They're only doing that because they see my potential. It's too late. Qiuling chuckled. Miss Chaoga, did you go home to humiliate them? Of course I did. Chaoga was pleased. What did they call me before? Useless, wasn't it? I've shocked them all. I'm a level 7 spiritual elder. Xiao Wu, you're even better than me. I bet those old men of the Feng clan are thrilled. I heard that your third uncle is back as well. Have they tried to suck up to you? Feng Wu said, well. Chaoga patted her shoulder and said, I knew it. You're the future of the Feng clan. Feng Wu was about to tell her what had happened, but Chaoga had already changed the subject. Gosh, I almost forgot the most important thing. Feng Wu asked what? Chaoga said, I went to Imperial College yesterday. Guess what? Feng Wu said, they let you skip a year. Chaoga said, nothing gets past you. Yes, I've left year 1. Qiuling was excited. Miss Chaoga, are you in year 2 as well? Feng Wu had entered year 2 before she left for the grassland. However, Chaoga shook her head. No, I'm past that. OMG. Qiuling cried out. So which year are you in? Chapter 2287, Untitled. Chapter 2287, Untitled. Chaoga gloated. I don't know how I did it. Everything was so difficult before, but now it's all so easy. I rose straight to year 3. Qiuling cried out in surprise. Chaoga took Feng Wu's hand. Xiao Wu, you're brilliant now. Why don't we take the exam together? Feng Wu shook her head. I've been busy with some family business recently. I don't have time for school stuff. Chaoga said, but... She hesitated. Feng Wu glanced at her. What? Chaoga said, but I told them that you would go to school and beat them all. I said that you would prove your capability. Feng Wu looked at her in resignation. Chaoga said, but they were insulting you. They have no idea what you're like at all, but they're still so mean. They said that you weren't even comparable to me or Qiuling when in fact, you're so powerful. And guess what? Chaoga took Feng Wu's hand and asked angrily, you have a cousin named Feng Qi, right? Feng Wu asked, do you know her? Chaoga said, I haven't dealt with her in person yet, but I know her name very well. Somehow, she's very hostile toward you, and those girls around her keep spreading rumors about you. Even Chief Qiao heard about it. He was angry when he heard that you didn't go to school after you came back, and said that he would expel you if you didn't go to school today. Feng Wu chuckled. Just listen to that authoritative tone. Chaoga said, you don't say. Ever since Mr. Feng left, Chief Qiao started abusing his power again. At least, in year 2, he can do whatever he wants. Feng Wu said, what? Mr. Feng is gone? Chaoga asked, do you not know? Feng Wu shook her head. I've been busy since I came back and haven't had time to go and see Mr. Feng yet. Hearing that, Granny Zhao came out and said to Feng Wu, Miss Wu, it's my fault. Grand Secretary Feng has indeed left the Imperial capital, and he took your brother with him, saying that one should learn from traveling the world. Here's his letter for you. Granny Zhao was very frustrated. Had it not been for the third branch, she would never have forgotten such an important thing. Feng Wu took the letter and quickly read it. She couldn't help but frown. That made everyone nervous. Chaoga asked, what did Grand Secretary Feng say? Feng Wu showed her the letter. Chaoga read it and was confused. Grand Secretary Fong said that he's going to see some old friends and show Xiaoqi the world. What's wrong with that? Feng Wu shook her head. Grand Secretary Fong is a very upright and calm man. If he had a choice, he would wait for me to come back before he left with Xiaoqi. If he rushed off like this, something must have happened. But what could it be? Feng Wu bit her lip. She had no clue at all. What about Xiaoqi? Chowga was worried. Feng Wu shook her head. You should be fine. But since that's the case, I think I have to go to school now. Chapter 2288, Untitled. Chapter 2288, Untitled. Hence, Feng Wu went to Imperial College with Chowga. An initial of year 2. As soon as Feng Wu entered, someone in the group of people walking toward her spotted her. Feng Wu, Song Yichen cried out. You're really back. Feng Wu found him a little familiar, but couldn't remember who he was. Don't you remember me? Song Yichen wasn't very happy. After all, here in Initial, he was one of the top students. He smiled bitterly and said, I used to be 7th on the billboard. That's one place higher than you. We met at the Immortal Flower Festival. Have you forgotten? Before Feng Wu could answer, a girl walked to Song Yichen's side and sneered at Feng Wu. I was wondering who it was. So, it's Feng Wu the genius, the 8th student on the billboard. Her friends around her chuckled. Yichen, you made great progress in the past 6 months, but the girl glanced at Feng Wu and smirked. Her friends laughed with her. Chao don't say that, said Song Yichen. Miss Feng Wu is very talented. She's probably made great progress as well. Great progress? If that's the case, she wouldn't be even weaker than her maid. I can't believe that she's even bold enough to come here to Imperial College. I heard that she's even weaker than Duan Chowga, her little friend. Duan Chowga has surpassed us and is a year 3 student now. That's right. She's so much more capable than Feng Wu now. I wonder if Feng Wu will become her minion instead. That'll be hilarious. And there's Feng Qi. Isn't she Feng Wu's younger cousin? She's ranked 2nd in year 2 now. If Feng Wu is even weaker than Feng Qi, why does she even have the courage to be alive? Isn't she ashamed to be called a genius? Chao Song Yichen frowned. He didn't want to hear such things. Who are you? Chowga asked coldly. She had skipped year 2, so she didn't know any of the year 2 students. Who are you? Chao asked arrogantly. She was quite an influential figure in year 2. I'm a so-called minion of Feng Wu. Chowga smirked. Tell me your name. Chao stomach lurched. She hadn't expected to meet Chowga in such a way. Chief Chao is my dad, and Miss Chao is my sister. Do you know what that means? Chao said proudly. What can you possibly do to me? Chowga frowned. Chao gloated. Her father was the ruler of Initial. Even Chowga couldn't do anything. However, to her surprise, Chowga slowly walked up to her and grinned. Before Chao could do anything, Chowga raised her right hand. Chapter 2289, Untitled. Chapter 2289, Untitled. Smack! Chowga slapped Xiao It had never occurred to Xiao that Chowga would hit her, and it took her a moment to digest it. How dare you hit me? Chowga glanced at her. Given what you just said, you deserve it. Say one more bad thing about Xiao Wu, and I'll hit you again. Xiao burst into tears. You're dead. My father is Chief Xiao, the head of Initial. No year 2 student would dare to offend Chief Xiao, since he had the right to kick them out. Chowga grinned. Chief Xiao? I'm so scared. Someone said at that moment, Duan Chowga? Isn't she the Duan Chowga who skipped year 2 and rose to year 3 directly? Yes, that's her. She's also a genius now. She doesn't need to come to Initial. Of course, she's not afraid of Chief Xiao. Xiao can't threaten her with anything. Xiao heard all those words. The girl really was Duan Chowga, the new genius. Filled with jealousy, Xiao stared at Chowga. So, you're Duan Chowga. Can you answer a question for me? She snorted before Chowga could say anything. You used to be Feng Wu's minion, but you're in year 3 now, and Feng Wu is only a year 2 student. She's even weaker than her own cousin. Between the two of you, who's the master now? That was a very mean thing to say, and Xiao Er was trying to drive a wedge between Feng Wu and Chaoga. She believed that all geniuses were arrogant, and as a new genius, Chaoga should hate Feng Wu. She didn't believe that the two girls could still be friends. Xiao Er wanted to start a fight between Feng Wu and Chaoga. Chaoga gave her a "you idiot" look. Xiao Er was confused. Chaoga rolled her eyes and said, "I've never heard such a stupid excuse. Are you really trying to drive a wedge between me and Xiao Wu?" Xiao Er said, "Did you just call me stupid?" Chaoga said, "I can't even be bothered to answer your question. But there's something I want to say." "What?" Everyone looked at her curiously. Chaoga looked around at them and grinned. "I swear on my own blood that I'll follow Feng Wu for as long as I'm alive. If I betray her, I'll be like this sword." She then drew out Xiao Er's sword and snapped the blade in half. "I think that answers your question." Chaoga looked around at the crowd. "What?" Everyone was shocked. "Duan Chaoga, have you lost your mind? Do you know what you're talking about? Duan Chaoga, you're a whole stage more advanced than Feng Wu. Why do you want to follow her? You must be crazy." "You're the crazy ones," said Chaoga. "Yes, I'm a level 7 spiritual elder now, but I only reached this level because of Xiao Wu. You people will never understand." Chapter 2290, Untitled. Chapter 2290, Untitled. Chaoga was telling the truth, but no one would believe her. Because of the conflict, more people kept gathering around. After they heard that Feng Wu and Duan Chaoga were here, even more people came. Right now, Feng Qi was second on the billboard. Song Yichen was 7th, Ning Yao 6th, Shu Yinruo 5th, Zhao Xingji 4th, Wu Yu 3rd, and the youngest son of the Gu family was 1st. "Brother Wu." Seeing Wu Yu, Xiao Er rushed to his side and took his hand. "They're bullying me." Wu Yu was Chief Xiao's favorite student, which was why Xiao Er had singled him out. Wu Yu smiled bitterly. He had been hiding in the crowd and had heard the conversation between Duan Chaoga and Xiao Er. Thus, he knew how Xiao Er had made a fool of herself. He would have helped Xiao Er already if he had wanted to. Chaoga glanced at Wu Yu and rolled up her sleeves. "Do you want to help her out?" Wu Yu smiled weakly and shook his head. "Miss Duan, you skipped year 2 and entered year 3 directly after the battle yesterday. Everyone knows that. Of course, I'm not bold enough to challenge you." He didn't have a death wish. There was no way that he could defeat a level 7 spiritual elder. Chaoga glanced at the crowd. "What about you people? Anyone?" No one replied. Because of what she had achieved the day before, no one dared to challenge her. Chaoga smirked and said, "If you can't even fight me, how dare you say those things about Xiao Wu? She's much more capable than all of you." "Really?" Everyone looked at Feng Wu suspiciously. "May I ask what Miss Feng Wu's level is?" Chaoga didn't know if Feng Wu wanted to reveal her true capability, so she said, "Take a wild guess. Is she a level 8 spiritual elder?" Chaoga shook her head. "Level 9. Chaoga still shook her head. "A level 1 spiritual lord?" Chaoga shook her head again. "Level 3, then." Chaoga sneered at the person. "Is that what you think of Xiao Wu? You people are so narrow-minded." Narrow-minded. Everyone gave her strange looks. If they had speculations about Feng Wu's capability before, they now believed that Chaoga was bluffing. "A level 3 spiritual lord? Chaoga, you're full of bullshit." Other people chimed in. The crowd laughed. Even Shu Yinruo, who had helped Feng Wu before, rubbed his nose and said, "Miss Duan, I would have believed you if you said that she's a level 8 or level 9 spiritual elder, but beyond a level 3 spiritual lord? That's..." Wu Yu also smiled wryly. "Miss Duan, that's a bit over the top." Everyone else nodded. The top 10 students all knew how difficult it was to make a breakthrough. Chaoga smirked. "You'll soon know what a real genius is." Unfortunately, no one believed her. Just then, someone said, "If Miss Feng Wu is so powerful now, why doesn't she take the test?" That's right. She's still 8th here in initial. If she's even stronger than a level 3 spiritual lord, Chapter 2291, Untitled. Chapter 2291, Untitled. Ha ha ha. Everyone laughed when they heard, Level 3 Spiritual Lord. Shall we call her Lord Wu from now on? Why Lord Wu? Didn't she say that she's a spiritual lord? Ha ha. Everyone burst into laughter. Even Song Yi-Chin and the others who held no grudges against Feng Wu shook their heads, thinking that Chaoga was only bluffing. Shu Yinruo shook his head. Why do I feel that Miss Duan is telling the truth? Shu Yinruo, seriously? Do you actually believe her? Do you even know what a level 3 spiritual lord is like? Someone at that level is powerful enough to be the head of a small clan. But I have faith in Feng Wu. Shu Yinruo frowned. What a fool. Everyone else shook their heads. Feng Wu already grew tired of hearing such words. If they behaved this way when they heard about a level 3 spiritual lord, would they be frightened to death if they knew that she was actually a level 9 spiritual lord? She decided not to scare them for the time being. She was about to leave with Chaoga because she was here for some serious business. Brother Gu, she's right there. Feng Wu heard a familiar voice. Was that Feng Qi? The crowd parted, and two people stepped forward. Brother Gu, she's the one who bullied me. Feng Qi stood next to a teenager who was glaring at Feng Wu. All eyes were on Feng Qi and the teenager. She's Feng Qi, the new student, isn't she? That's right. I heard that she's Feng Wu's cousin. I heard that the two cousins aren't on friendly terms, and Feng Wu used to pick on Feng Qi all the time. That teenager is Gu Xingqing, isn't he? He's the most talented student in Initial. Gosh, it really is him. What's his relationship with Feng Qi? Are they a couple? No, they're not. I think the Feng family is related to the Gu family by marriage. Yes, that's it. Feng Qi's mother is from the Gu family, the one that has 6 young geniuses. What 6 geniuses? Gu Xingqing is the genius of year 2. If he hadn't been cultivating in seclusion for so long, he would have risen to year 3 already. Isn't he a genius? Of course he is. He's the 6th son of his father, and he has 5 brothers, each more talented than the next. My father says that the Gu family is so amazing that they'll rise among the 10 major clans as well. Their future is so promising. Feng Qi is Gu Xingqing's cousin, and he'll surely be on her side. Feng Wu is in trouble. But won't Duan Chaoga help her? Duan Chaoga is quite capable, but she can only fight one person at a time, while Gu Xingqing still has 5 brothers. Then Feng Wu is doomed. Chapter 2292, Untitled. Chapter 2292, Untitled. The crowd had been suspicious about Feng Wu's cultivation level after hearing what Chaoga said. They couldn't wait to see someone prove that Chaoga had been lying. Therefore, they pinned all their hopes on Gu Xingqing. Brother Gu, that's her. Feng Qi pointed at Feng Wu. She hung me up on a pole and cut off my mother's hand. Brother Gu, you have to get revenge for me. Feng Qi had been behaving like an adorable little sister since she was very young, and her older cousins all liked her very much. Hearing what had happened to his favorite cousin and his aunt, Gu Xingqing couldn't stand it anymore. Wow, it's Gu Xingqing, the top student of Initial. I heard that he already has the ability to go to year 3, and he's only still here because he was cultivating in seclusion. Which one do you think is more capable, Feng Wu or Gu Xingqing? What was his level before he went into seclusion? Ning Yao asked Song Yi-Chen. Song Yi-Chen rubbed his nose. He was a level 6B spiritual elder. Ning Yao said, so his level was below Duan Chaoga's current level. Song Yi-Chen shook his head. That was back then. He went into seclusion for a whole year, and I don't know what level he's at now. Ning Yao shook his head. I don't know either. So you're Feng Wu. Gu Xingqing walked up to Duan Chaoga. Because Feng Wu had hidden her cultivation level with the concealing jade, Gu Xingqing couldn't detect her spiritual essence at all. On the other hand, Chaoga was giving off some very dense and pure spiritual essence. Feng Qi was about to speak when Gu Xingqing glanced at Chaoga and smirked. A level 7 spiritual elder. Not bad. Everyone looked at him in amazement. Brother Gu, that one is Feng Wu. Feng Qi turned him toward Feng Wu. Gu Xingqing glanced at Feng Wu and frowned. She's useless. Why do you need me? Those words were proof enough of how weak Feng Wu was. Many people heaved a sigh of relief. When Chaoga said that Feng Wu was so powerful, although they expressed doubt, deep down, they still thought that she might be telling the truth. Now that Gu Xingqing had said that, they now knew for sure. Brother Gu, she might be weak, but she's very cunning. Otherwise, those things wouldn't have happened to my family. Please help me. Feng Qi knew perfectly well how capable Feng Wu really was. Even her father couldn't defeat Feng Wu, let alone Gu Xingqing. But she had to get Gu Xingqing involved. Once Gu Xingqing became part of the conflict, his 5 brothers and the entire Gu family would be involved as well. That was the plan she and her mother had come up with the night before. Gu Xingqing had never imagined that his favorite cousin would drag him into a trap. He glanced at Feng Wu. Did you bully my cousin? Feng Wu smiled. Yes, I did. SSSS. Everyone thought that Feng Wu had lost her mind. Why would she provoke the top student of year 2? Chapter 2293, Untitled. Chapter 2293, Untitled. Feng Wu. Xu Yunruo wanted to warn Feng Wu. Gu Xingqing gave Xu Yunruo an arrogant glance and turned to Feng Wu. Fine. Since you've admitted it, you'll have to live with the consequences. Gu Xingqing's tone was very calm, as if he was only asking Feng Wu to drink a glass of water. He struck down at her with his sword. How dare you? Before Feng Wu could react, Chaoga charged at him. She drew out her sword. Clang! Gu Xingqing stumbled back as Chaoga advanced toward him. They were about the same level, and the battle turned into a stalemate. How did this happen? Gu Xingqing glared at Duan Chaoga. Aren't you a level 7 spiritual elder? Chaoga said, I'm sorry, but I made a breakthrough yesterday. The crowd was speechless. What? Was she a level 8 spiritual elder now? How could you make it sound so easy? What medicine did you take? Ning Yao couldn't help but ask. Chaoga said casually, that medicine is called Feng Wu. Ning Yao said, what? Chaoga said, if you have the chance to learn from Xiao Wu, she can help you become a spiritual lord, let alone a level 8 spiritual elder. Everyone rolled their eyes at her. They still thought that she was bluffing. Chaoga said, I'm telling the truth, but you just won't believe me. Gu Xingqing stared at Chaoga. A level 8 spiritual elder? I misjudged you then. Chaoga said, I forgive you for that. By the way, they all say that you were a level 7 spiritual elder before you went into seclusion, but it's been a year, so why are you only a level 8 spiritual elder? Only. Gu Xingqing was furious. The crowd was speechless. Once a person reached the spiritual elder stage, it became very difficult to make progress. Why did you make it sound so easy? Gu Xingqing charged at Chaoga without saying another word. Thump, thump, thump. They exchanged a few blows in the air, sending rocks and sand flying everywhere. In the end, they clashed with each other. When the dust in the air finally settled down, the crowd was shocked by what they saw. Shit, no way. Am I seeing things? They couldn't believe their eyes. Chaoga was standing there with her foot on someone's face. On the face. That was very humiliating. The person lying on the ground was none other than Gu Xingqing. Is that really Gu Xingqing? Isn't he a level 8 spiritual elder? He's our top student. While everyone was shouting in surprise, Xu Yunruo looked at Feng Wu with sparkling eyes. Feng Wu stood there with her hands behind her back, but there was something so brilliant about her that Xu Yunruo couldn't look away. She wasn't the most capable student here, but why was she so attractive? Xu Yunruo was infatuated. Meanwhile, Chaoga stomped on Gu Xingqing's face and said, Are you going to surrender or not? Gu Xingqing's eyes were so red that they seemed to be bleeding. What a humiliation. For the first time in his life, someone was stepping on his face. Chapter 2294, Untitled. Chapter 2294, Untitled. He had never been so humiliated before. I won't surrender. Kill me if you dare. Gu Xingqing smirked. Chaoga said, great, if that's your wish. Feng Qi was elated. Feng Wu cleared her throat at that moment. Chaoga suddenly calmed down. She remembered Feng Wu had told her that she shouldn't kill other people here. Oomph. I would definitely have killed you, if not for Xiao Wu's reminder. Chaoga gave Gu Xingqing one last glance before going back to Feng Wu's side. However, when she let her guard down, Gu Xingqing kicked, aiming his foot at Chaoga's neck. Feng Wu saw something glinting and knew that he was up to no good. There was a blade in the sole of Gu Xingqing's shoe. He wanted to cut Chaoga's artery. The crowd all realized that as well. Chaoga had spared his life, but he showed no gratitude at all. Everyone was shocked. Of course, Feng Wu wouldn't let that happen. No one saw how Feng Wu did it, because all their attention was on Gu Xingqing and Chaoga. They were about the same level, and Gu Xingqing had taken Chaoga by surprise. By the time Chaoga realized what was happening, it was too late. Chaoga was going to die. Everyone felt the same way. But Feng Wu struck out. How dare you? By the time everyone saw what was going on, Feng Wu was at Chaoga's side. She pulled Chaoga out of the way as she kicked Gu Xingqing. People heard someone screaming loudly. When they saw what had happened, they sucked in their breaths. Gu Xingqing was screaming. OMG, Gu Xingqing isn't he the top student on the billboard of Initial? He hasn't been challenged for years. But what just happened? The top 10 students were the most shocked. Song Yichen, Ning Yao, Xu Yunruo, and Zhao Xingji were all among the top 10 and were ranked higher than Feng Wu. However, that kick. Not only did Feng Wu kick Gu Xingqing away, she shocked the crowd as well. Song Yichen's eyes widened. I don't know. I can't believe it, Ning Yao said. Isn't Feng Wu a level 7 spiritual elder only? How could she? Xu Yunruo said, does this mean that Feng Wu is the top student in Initial now? Everyone looked perplexed. They recalled how they had doubted Feng Wu. Thump! Gu Xingqing fell to the ground. He fell from so high up in the sky that the impact created a deep crater in the ground. It took him a long while to climb out. His clothes were covered with blood, and his eyes were bloodshot red. Feng! He started coughing violently before he could say Feng Wu's name. Everyone gave him sympathetic looks before they turned to look at Feng Wu in fear. Chapter 2295, Untitled. Chapter 2295, Untitled. Chaoga moved before Feng Wu could say anything. She walked up to Gu Xingqing and stepped on his face. You ungrateful bastard. I spared your life, and this is how you repay me. You would have killed me if Xiao Wu hadn't saved me. I won't have it. She stomped hard on Gu Xingqing's head and was going to crack it open. Stop, someone shouted angrily. A streak of sword energy charged at Chaoga from behind. It was formidable. Chaoga felt a chill run down her spine, and an invisible rope seemed to wrap itself around her. She wanted to dodge, but couldn't move a muscle. Whoosh! A sword flew at Chaoga from behind. The blade was going to punch a hole in her body. Everyone watched in terror. They wanted to say something or fall back. But the power was so formidable that they couldn't even raise a finger. The tip of the sword was so close to Chaoga's back. Gu Xingqing had a crooked smile on his face. Because Feng Qi was leading someone in his direction. Feng Qi smirked as well. Feng Wu, once Duan Chaoga is dead, you're next. Blame yourself. You shouldn't have messed with the Gu family. But everyone thought that Chaoga was going to die. And Chaoga felt the same. At that moment, Feng Wu suddenly reached for the flying sword. With her bare hand. What? Everyone was shocked. The sword alone could freeze everyone on the spot, and its owner had to be very capable. The person had to be a spiritual lord at least. Had Feng Wu lost her mind, she was going to lose her hand. Song Yichen and his friends looked at one another in resignation. Wait, why could they move their heads? Before they could figure out what was going on, something unforgettable happened. They saw Feng Wu's slender fingers. But instead of being destroyed by the power, her fingers caught the sword intent. Feng Wu then turned toward the newcomer. Song Yichen blurted out, "Did she catch the sword?" Ning Yao rubbed his eyes. "OMG, is Feng Wu even human?" The newcomer was also astonished. Feng Qi's stomach lurched. "It's Gu Xingyun, Gu Xingqing's fifth brother," Zhao Xingji whispered. "He's in year 3, and I heard that he's one of the top students as well. The Gu family has many talented members, and most of the 6 brothers are here in Imperial College. If one of them is bullied, the others will all come to his aid. No one here dares to mess with any of them," Wu Yu said with a frown. Song Yichen said, "But Feng Wu is amazing. She just caught the sword with her bare hand." Wu Yu said, "So what? Gu Xingyun is already a level 1 spiritual lord. How can Feng Wu possibly be his match?" Chapter 2296, Untitled. Chapter 2296, Untitled. A level 1 spiritual lord? Everyone looked at Wu Yu. Is he so capable now? Wu Yu sighed. I heard that he was at that level a year ago. Maybe he's made a breakthrough already. Everyone was speechless. Then he'll be so capable. Feng Wu will never be his match. That's only normal. I'd be surprised if she can defeat him, Wu Yu said slowly. Everyone has to be responsible for their own behavior. Feng Wu beat up Gu Xingqing, and of course, Gu Xingyun will take revenge for his brother. What he said made sense, but still, many people felt sorry for Feng Wu. By then, Gu Xingyun had walked up to Duan Chaoga and struck down with his fist. He wanted to kill her. Chaoga was frozen on the spot and couldn't dodge the attack. Feng Wu pulled her back. Gu Xingyun missed his target. He looked up and glared at Feng Wu. Gu Xingqing spat out a mouthful of blood, and Feng Qi quickly helped him to his feet. "Brother, she insulted me." Gu Xingqing took a big breath. "As long as she's alive, I'll have an obstacle in my mind." He couldn't have made it any clearer. If Feng Wu was alive, he wouldn't make any more progress in his cultivation. Gu Xingyun's eyes glinted coldly. He asked Feng Wu, "Did you hear that?" The pressure he gave off made the crowd step back. The ground cracked under his feet. How terrifying. Song Yichen was worried about Feng Wu, so he whispered, "Feng Wu, just apologize." The others nodded as well. Apologize now, and maybe he would spare her life. If she offended the Gu family, she would be doomed. But, to everyone's surprise, Feng Wu wasn't scared. Not only that, she also raised her chin and gave Gu Xingyun an indifferent glance. She was even smiling, as if she wasn't afraid of death at all. Gu Xingyun was provoked by her attitude as well. "Fine, you asked for it. It's not the Gu family's fault." Gu Xingyun smirked. "Since you're a girl, I'll use 3 strikes only. You can walk away if you're still alive after that." After that, he raised his hand. Boom! He struck down with his fist. Rumble! The entire square was covered by darkness, and the energy was terrifying. Gu Xingyun landed like a heavenly god. He struck out. The energy in his strike was ferocious. It seemed to create ripples around him. Even the air seemed to warp. What a strike! That was the force of a spiritual lord. The energy turned into magma and rushed toward Feng Wu. Seeing this, the crowd was so nervous that they bit their lower lips. Some of them liked Feng Wu, while others didn't. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.